Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new DSP video. I did want to do this video the week it happened. I just wasn't feeling that great, so I didn't do the video, so now I'm doing it. We might do some bonus videos in this as well, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, guys. But let's start with this whole little Twitter section, okay? Let's start here. Oh, I gotta fix this. There we go. That's very important. So I used to call this guy on Twitter a lot, Guile World Order. His name's actually Guile Windquote, so I apologize. I spread the wrong fucking name out there. So apologies. So this guy tweets out my new office / fighting game dungeon, and you see this picture. I am very impressed that he has a Blaze Blue cabinet. I don't know why. I'm sure that there are Blaze Blue cabinets. I just never really think about that because Blaze Blue is like an anime fighter, so it's like I don't, whatever. You know. So oh god, this is acting really weird. Anyways, so he tweets this out. He has a little Kirby. Is that a Kirby thing right here? Whatever. Anyways, he tweets this out, having a good time. He's like, oh, look at this cool setup. DSP has to interject himself into this. He has to say something, right? He has to. I spent the vast majority of my free time from age 13 to 27 playing competitive Street Fighter. I always thought I'd end up with something like this. Now at like 40, I have zero desire for it. And I see countless people who never played competitively have these. Go figure. Okay. So you read this, and everyone got a dogged on DSP for making this tweet. And I just want to it's going to come up a lot in the pre-stream we're going to watch with this, but it really highlights how DSP does not understand how Twitter works. He doesn't understand how it works. He doesn't understand how people can misinterpret his intention. Because, sure, he probably is aiming to say, like, other people who are not competitive have these. Which is still, like, who cares? Like, having a cabinet is a collector's item at this point. Like, who cares if you're competitive or not? Like, it doesn't really matter. Regardless, whatever. There's really no reason to gatekeep fucking arcade cabinets. Like, it's a massive meme. But he replies to this. Now, you think in your mind, when you quote retweet someone, you're kind of responding or reacting to what the person said. So, in the perspective of, and DSP, this is how bad he is at empathizing with anyone. Does not understand how Guile Windquote could see what DSP said and take it as a slight against him because he said, I see countless people who never played competitively have these. Now, DSP in the pre-stream says he doesn't know who this guy is. So, if he knew, let's say, so he doesn't know who he is, so, okay. Does he know that he's a competitive player or not? If he does know he's a competitive player, let's say, then why even bring that up? Like, to me, it's like, why even bring that up in the first place? Who cares? Like, am I gonna sit here and be like, wow, I can't believe people who, buy art books, they're not artists. What's up with that? Oh, people like watch anime? Do they read the manga? Like, it's kind of like this weird, like, fart sniffing elitism that you don't really, that you're a loser for doing, you know what I mean? But he says that he doesn't understand how, like, Guile Windquote could just kind of misinterpret that as it being directed to him because DSP's was replying or quote retweeting his fucking tweet. Whatever. So the guy responds with this massive banger. I gave him the wrong voice, my bad. If you ask nicely, DSP, I can run the PS1 version of Super Turbo on my cabinets, so you can reminisce on the last time you were ever relevant in this community. I could reference all the non-PS1 events, including future Evo quals. But why bother? This is why I'm not part of the competitive FGC. Didn't insult the guy in any way. Just explain how my life mindset changed over time, and I get insulted for what? Clout? Enjoy it, man. I know he would want to put a thumbs up. I know he did. It just reads like he just wants to put a thumbs up there, but he forgot about it. The FGC, I know, was all about hype, rivalries, and the love of the game. Current state FGC is about getting internet famous, making the bag, and clout. We all shook hands after every match and didn't hold grudges. So, I'm happy where I am. Thanks, keep making irrelevant PS1 jokes. Okay. Dude, this is massive nonsense. On many, many levels. And we're going to go over that nonsense right now. How many times has DSP told us that he's not relevant? Guys, I'm not relevant, man. Like, I'm a small guy, man. Like, why are you punching down at me, man? I'm irrelevant. He always tells us he's irrelevant. All the time. Like, when Keem was doing shit with him, he tells us how he's so irrelevant. Like, pretty much any time DSP's in the spotlight, he tells us he's irrelevant. All the time. This guy says, you're irrelevant. And he's like, oh, I'm irrelevant? Oh my god. This fucking guy, let me tell you all about my Evo times where I gatekeep fucking Super Turbo. And it's so fucking pathetic. It's so pathetic. And he also tells us how it's okay for us to, like, make these kind of jokes. Like, this is a joke DSP tells us he would rather have us make of him. When it comes to, like, making fun of Cat or making fun of DSP not making money or anything like that or whatever, that's all personal and fucked up. Make fun of his content, man. Make fun that he's, like, irrelevant or whatever. The dude does that, and he takes it as a personal slight, and so that's like one level that it's just as you all know, you guys know, there's no winning with DSP. He wants you to do one thing. You do the thing he wants you to do, he gets mad at you for it. So why bother? This is like why no one takes his little, I challenge the trolls to not do videos about me for an entire week. Challenge, because you could do that and you'll still be mad about it, regardless. So what's the point, right? So that's one layer. The other is that, like you said, I have to kind of reread it to get my train back. Not part of the competitive FGC. He can't be part of the FGC because he doesn't go to tournaments. But the FGC, in my opinion, is a little more abstract than just like you have to go to Evo to be part of it. Like if you're playing fighting games and you have any level of expertise, you're kind of part of the FGC. Like you don't have to be that active with it, but whatever. But then he brings up that he didn't insult the guy. Again, he doesn't really understand how maybe Gal Wincode could have just kind of took the last part of the last tweet wrong, because he says, I see so many people who don't play competitively have these. And it's like he's quote retweeting a dude. Like the dude could just kind of misinterpret that as directed to him. But even then, it's kind of this weird like presumption that you need to be competitive to have arcade cabinets. You don't have to be competitive to have these things. Like, do you have to be it's really dumb. It's really dumb. Like, I didn't watch Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, and I got the keyframe animation art book first. That was the first thing I got of that franchise, whatever. And I liked it, then I got to the show. Like, I got in so many things through periphery things. Like, I got into Metal Gear Solid by playing Metal Gear Acid. Like, that got me into it, believe it or not. And all this stuff. Like, people just want to collect stuff. But he brings that up for no real reason, and the guy just kind of continues to dog on it. And you read this tweet from Guile Winquote, and it just seems like kind of like playful banter, almost. Like, oh, lol, like, whatever. It's kind of like it's kind of like a roast, dude. And he could have taken it like that, but instead he had to be a little bitch because he has a skin thickness of a piece of tissue paper. Like, it's really like this kind of like he says this, but it really just shows. Oh, whoops, wrong click. It just shows how sensitive DSP is, and he tells us how he has such thick skin, but he got so fucking butthurt for a guy saying you're irrelevant. It's really sad, really sad. And then he brings up how the FGC was all about hype. And I also want to bring this up. He brings about like, oh, it's all about internet fame and attacking people or whatever. When he was at the FGC, DSP literally was trolling people. He made the top haters website, and he also told us many times in the past that people were shit talking constantly. I think he is even back when the Mr. Wiz stuff was coming out, and he was like, yeah, back then it was like the good old boys club, man. People were like saying, oh, you can't say it today, man. And he's telling us that it was like better back then, but all this stuff was going on back then too. And it's kind of ironic that he says it wasn't about getting internet famous back then, but I guarantee you, this dude would not have gotten the following he did if he didn't do the FGC stuff back then. Because he entered tournaments as DSP and all this stuff, right? Then he opens a channel called Dark Side Phil. It all kind of adds up to fucking connecting the dots here. So I kind of don't care about like, oh, so it was about being internet famous back then, but you got famous off of that. I'm sorry, like, intentional or not, he wouldn't have gotten the following he did if he didn't do the Evo shit. I guarantee you he wouldn't have gotten as famous as he did, because how many people went to his channel and be like, wow, I saw him in the FGC, man, I saw him at Evo, wow, he has a YouTube channel? Whatever. But but this dude doesn't watch any tournaments at all, and he says that no one shakes hands after matches. Dude, people still shake their hands after every match. And all this stuff. Like, he's making this presumption just off of, like, just knowing that Twitch has streams of Evo stuff. There's events around Evo and all this stuff. So he assumes, honestly, that that's what it's all about. But it's not. Just because, like, it gets hosted on Twitch.tv or YouTube or whatever the fuck doesn't really mean it's not about, like, the game. Yeah, it's not grassroots and a small venue anymore. It's, sure, big business and a commercial opportunity, but the people who participate in it are not there for, for the fame and money. They're there because they like the game. Again, you could say, well, Theo, you're being naive, man, or whatever. Okay, sure. But I would much rather assume the best out of people than assume the worst off the bat. You know what I mean? But it's constant nonsense with this, because he brings up like the FGC. I know it's all about the hype, rivalries. Didn't he say that things about hype are bad, and now he's saying that it's good that it was about hype? Rivalries, I'm sure there's still rivalries. I'm sure there are. I'm sorry, I'm sure there are. The love of the game, that's assuming that there's no love in the game. How does he know this? I don't know. How can you tell? Like, this is the stuff that DSP gets mad of. Like, if I go into his chat and say, DSP, doesn't look like you love gaming, he get mad about that, because he's like, no, I love gaming, man. I wouldn't be doing this if I don't love gaming, man. But then he also told us that back then he didn't love his job back then, but now he does. So how does he measure this? How can you watch a stream and know these people don't love the game? Like, how do you know the top Street Fighter V players don't love Street Fighter V? Like, it's kind of hard to make this connection. And it also shows his narcissism to think that this dude attacked DSP for clout. What clout is there? I thought you're irrelevant, DSP. Happy where I am, thanks. Keep making irrelevant PS1 jokes. Okay, but you're irrelevant, dude. But how like, see how like nonsensical DSP's logic is? One day he's irrelevant and he's a little guy. The next day, oh, they're attacking me because I'm a big guy. Okay, dude. I think that's it for the Twitter stuff I wanted to go over. I know he did this like slight little thing about God of War. Sorry you're hearing lawnmower shit, but you know, we're doing DSP content, so it adds up. Dude, I really need the M2 chip, man. Alright, there's no new tweet. Alright, let's get to the videos I want to get to. I think it's this one. Yeah. Alright, let's go, boys.
I don't want to play anything else. You know, I don't want to go back to any of those other games. And I hear him. Like, I responded to his tweet, and I'm like...
Wait, I want to hear this.
About Street Fighter 6 and people in the community. I'm just sifting through the Twitter feed about Street Fighter in general. And I see a few people posting up. Justin Wong posts up, and he's like, man, now the Street Fighter 6 beta's over. Like, what other fighting games do I don't even want to play anything else. You know,
there's Skullgirls and Guilty Gear. Like, Guilty Gear has... well, it had crossplay beta last weekend. It was pretty good, pretty fun. Then they have the rollback beta for Exard Revelator 2. So, I mean, Justin, you get play fucking good games.
I don't want to go back to any of those other games. And I hear him. Like, I responded to his tweet, and I'm like, I hear you. You know, every Friday night I play Capcom Fighting Collection. That's the one other game I would want to play outside of Street Fighter 6. And there's like 10 people who play it on PS4. It's dead on Xbox. So there's no comp in a game that I like. And this game, which is the game that I really like right now, I can't play. You know, it sucks. We're all just going to kind of be sitting around playing the waiting game. So I think there's a lot of us in that boat, you know. And I see Alex Valle post up. And he says, man, was that like mind-blowingly good for a beta, and that's like the example of how a beta should be.
This is kind of silly that all these people are like, well, man, the beta works really good, man. It was a closed beta, so like only a few people got in to begin with. It's not like amazing that people got in, by the way. Like, I not meant to put any prestige on that, but it's a closed beta, so it's a smaller pool of players anyway. So of course it's gonna run better. But let's see what happens when they do a public beta, because they're gonna have to do one eventually. They can't just not do one. There's no way they're not doing an open beta at some point. They have to, dude.
And I responded to that, and I was like, yeah, like, we want to talk about a 180 from Street Fighter V's beta. That's the example of a 180 turn, and having a beta, you know, it worked so well, you know. So it's just a positive experience, right? So as I'm reading through all these tweets and I'm responding to a few, there's a tweet that goes up by someone who I don't know who this is. I'm going to show you the tweet. And I don't know who this person is at all in the community. I didn't look at their profile. Like, literally, I don't care. I'm just looking through Street Fighter posts, right? And I see this tweet from this guy, and he posts up a picture of, I guess, what is his home arcade at his house. And I'm looking at it.
I guess his home arcade at his house, man. I don't know, does that look like a home interior to you guys? I mean, maybe it's an office building. They have a little gamer dungeon.
You know, it kind of reminds me of the days when Howard had something like that in his house, like over a decade ago. We used to go over there and play Super Turbo with each other. And I'm reminiscing to back in the day when I used to be part of the competitive fighting game community, right? And I used to actually have like aspirations that one day I would have something like this, okay? I thought about, gee, I would like to have like networked cabinets, 2 sit-down cabinets that people could play against, and then maybe another cabinet we could play like versus games. This would be cool because this, you know, at one point in my life, this was my life. You know what I mean? This was my hobby. I've told you guys from the years when, you know, I basically became a teenager.
I like how this dude is saying this about fucking arcade cabinets, but he bought all these fucking figures. At least with arcade cabinets, you can use them, dude.
All the way through the year, like when I turned like 27, 28, when I started on YouTube, all right? Street Fighter was my hobby, and it was my outlet for like entertainment. This was my, I put everything into this right here, these cabinets. You know, this was me traveling, playing in tournaments, putting money into the community, running tournaments. Near the end of my run, I was a tournament organizer as well as a competitive player at exactly the same time, okay? So this was, you know, a giant chunk of my life. This was something that I cared so much about, and I actually aspired to have something like this, okay?
Did he? I mean, think about it. Did he aspire to have that, though? He didn't, like, do anything that worked towards that. He didn't like go to like when you go watch the house tour videos back in the day when he was making big buck, right? Did he go through the house like, oh, this would be like a good place to put an arcade cabinet if I really wanted one, man? No, he never really thought about it. He only wanted one just because he looked at it and was like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to have one. Like whatever, it's kind of like window shopping. You know what I mean?
And it's funny.
It's funny.
Because you guys have asked me over the years, are you interested in getting back into the fighting game community? And are you interested in doing something like this? Because now they have the arcade 1-up setups. You don't even have to buy real arcade machines anymore. You could just buy an arcade 1-up setup and you can have your own arcade machine at home or whatever. And I've kind of told you guys over the years, no. And here's
No.
why. And I can't really elaborate on that in a tweet with limited characters or whatever. But essentially, here's
What? Wait, what?
whatever. And are you interested in doing something like this? Because now they have the arcade 1-up setups. You don't even have to buy real arcade machines anymore. You could just buy an arcade 1-up setup and you can have your own arcade machine at home or whatever. And I've kind of told you guys over the years, no. And here's why. And I can't really elaborate on that in a tweet with limited characters or whatever.
But like, why? Why? Like, this is the thing, right? The guy makes that tweet out of positivity. Like, he just wanted to share his fucking arcade collection. Like, look at the stuff I have, man. And this dude comes in, oh, wow, man. Like, I used to want this, and now I don't. And I'm 40 years old, and like, you know, I see a lot of people who are not competitive have these. Go figure. Why not just make the tweet saying, you know, when I was young, I would have loved to have this like arcade cabinet set up. You know, right now I'm not like I. See, this is the thing. This is the thing. Now that I'm like thinking about it, it's a dumb tweet because this dude wants to tell us how he's Mr. Positive and he's not negative anymore and he's in such a better place and all this stuff. Then why always make tweets that lean negatively? Like, because this tweet kind of at one point like shits on his past and then like praises his current situation at the same time. Like, why does this dude like fucking sit there and be like, yeah, when I was a kid I was a fucking idiot, now I'm smart? Like, come on. Like, this kind of is like really pathetic. It's really pathetic to see a 40-year-old man just sit there and tell us how he sucked as a kid and now he's cool. Like, come on. And then he tells us that he isn't like he's not going through a midlife crisis. Dude, you're trying to cope and justify your life to us. That's what this is. And he does this all the time. Every time he tells us like I'm way better off now than I was back then, you're just coping. And every time in other situations when he talks about the past, he made a lot of money. Like this is like all over the place. And it's to the point where like if you want to be like more of a positive thinker and not be a fake positive guy, just like be happy with what you have then. So many people like go through life with like less, they struggle through life, whatever. Everyone has their own life situation. But you don't fucking see them all the time just like reminisce about how nice it was that when you're a kid and you're going to school and you don't have to worry about bills or taxes or anything. Like, of course, whatever. But this dude is telling us every day about how he's better off, and then he ropes in like fucking Guile Winquote into it. Why bring other people into and the other thing about this is that DSP tells us how other people interject themselves into his shit. What is this then? The dude makes a tweet, minding his own fucking business, showing off his fucking collection. And DSP comes in, interjects himself into it to brag about his own fucking life. And even if we take apart, ignore the fact that maybe Guile Winquote took it negatively or whatever, take that out of the equation, it's still kind of a shitty tweet on its own. Because like, imagine you show off something that you worked on. Like, oh, I worked on getting this big, vast collection. Isn't this really cool? I'm, like, really proud of this collection. And some fucking random-ass guy comes in and takes your post and makes it about themselves. It's not, like, the worst thing to happen or anything like that, or it's worth being upset about. But you're just gonna sit there and be like, this guy is such a fucking clown. Like, that's what you're gonna think about. So DSP does this unironically, and he looks like a fucking clown. So of course everyone wants to dunk on him because who fucking does this shit? and instead of just like making a tweet saying like, you know, When I was young, I wish I had a setup like this. It's really cool to see that this guy got a setup like this. You know, he has a Blaze Blue cabinet. He has a Street Fighter cabinet. Like, this is a cool collection that I can't get or whatever. But instead, it's just him, like, saying, man, I'm old and I'm out of the FGC community and only people who are not competitive have this. Like, it's so needlessly negative. This dude is so pessimistic. I think he's pessimistic. It's either pessimistic or cynical. I think it's pessimistic. This dude is so fucking, like, lame. It's really like that guy that you're having a good time, then this guy just sits down next to you and like, man, it's gonna rain today. It was sunny yesterday, but today's gonna rain just like my soul. And you're just gonna be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
But essentially, here's my mentality, all right? Been there, done that. That was a giant portion of my life. It was a giant time investment during my youngest years when I was young. You know what I mean? And that was when I was healthy and everything, and I was able to travel. And what did I
That was back when I was healthy and I was able to travel. What? Okay.
Playing Street Fighter constantly. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that I look back now, okay? And I look back at this time, and I'm like, you know, I have regrets. Because when I was younger, I had opportunity to do more things with my life than just play Street Fighter. I keep telling you guys, I still to this day, I beat myself up.
This is so stupid. This is so stupid. I fucking hate this
myself up
so much.
Okay? I say, man, I went to Vegas so many times. And I never saw the Strip because I'm an idiot who just sat.
This dude has such a hard-on to go to touristy places. Like, you don't think it's cool to go to a fucking tournament to fight with other people at all? Because you didn't see tourist traps? Like, this dude literally acts as if he went to Vegas and stayed in the hotel room and just, like, laid in bed all day and watched TV. Which he didn't do, by the way, because he went to another building surrounded by other people. Like, it's funny, right? I did that Street Fighter 5 video a few weeks ago, and he brags about how, like, he met all these people through different walks of life and all this. Like, he really had a positive you know, oh my god, I don't know, I'm, like, blanking on the word. A positive experience with the past. All that, right? And now it's like he's acting as if, like, it was an awful situation. And it's not. Like, so many people probably would have killed to go to to another state to then, like, see other people and compete against other people. Like, that's not cool? Oh, I fought people when I went to Vegas. That sucks. Like, it's really, really lame to fucking go out of your way to act like this. I didn't see the Strip, man. I didn't get to go to the casinos and lose my money like everyone else. Yeah, but you went to, like, play a tournament. Just, like, and also the thing is that it's kind of his fault for not, like, planning to maybe spend an extra day there to do some sightseeing. Like, he blames it on Evo and all this stuff, but he could have just planned around also sightseeing. But whatever, he didn't think that far ahead, I guess.
And a hotel ballroom playing Street Fighter. Or a hotel fucking room playing console Street Fighter. I didn't take advantage of all that youth and the time that I had to travel and enjoy things and be a tourist and take in culture. Instead, it was all about the game.
Culture.
And I guess some people could say that's respectable. I was so on my game during those years.
This is so,
for me,
this is so stupid. I guess you could say it's respectable. It's not about being respectable, but you had, like, anyone who plays games with other people probably have more fun when they play with other people in a competitive sense, or just seeing other people. This dude acts as if he didn't socialize at all. It's so sad. I think I talked about a lot about this in the Street Fighter 5 video I uploaded, but it's It is so fucking dumb that this guy goes out of his way all the time to talk like this.
It's a regret because I wish that I actually did more with my life during those years than just, oh, this is about competitive Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine going to Vegas 3-4 times and never seeing the strip because you're an idiot? Because I am. I admit today I'm a fucking moron for doing that, right? So here's the thing. Back when I was in competitive Street Fighter, which I retired from essentially in 2007, this was the dream. Something like this. Having something like this was like, that's what you aspire to. This is what you want, right? This is what you want. This is your end game. Hopefully one day you will have a living, you have a job, and you can actually have your own game room, right?
What?
And then what ended up happening was over the years, my mindset changed. In 2007, I stopped caring about competitive Street Fighter.
I don't quite get that. Because anyone would want like a good entertainment room. Like that's what everyone like wants to have just for fun, whatever. But it was more back then in the 90s, dude. When you were growing up, like you'd probably just want a house. I don't know. Like
I started being a YouTuber.
I don't know.
And my eyes were opened significantly.
Wait, what?
And what ended up happening was over the years, my mindset changed. In 2007, I stopped caring about competitive Street Fighter. I started being a YouTuber. And my eyes were opened significantly to all the games that I had missed, right? In 2009, I was reinvigorated to be part of competitive Street Fighter again with Street Fighter 4. That lasted about a year. And then I kind of got out of it again. I was like, you know, even though I like covering fighting games for YouTube, I like doing it at a more casual pace. I'll play them online. But in 2011, once again, I officially retired and said, I'm not going to travel anymore. I'm just going to do variety content for my YouTube channel, and I'll cover a new fighting game if it comes out, but I have no desire to be part of this competitive FGC anymore. I just wanted to be a YouTuber now. Like, I enjoy this way more than all of the travel, the grind, and being part of this community, okay? And by the way, around that time, I also started seeing this community change. I started to see the FGC. It became less about the love of the game and more about getting internet clout, getting one up on someone else, getting internet
This
popular.
dude has used his like 4th place at Evo and all these other like qualifiers to brag about his fucking edict the whole time. And he's saying, oh, now it's about fame and clout. As I said before, I guarantee this dude would not have gotten the following he did if he didn't do the Street Fighter thing. I have a Theo theory. Wait, do I have it? I'm sorry, my fucking stream deck fucked up, but guys, I have a Theo theory. What if back then when he was done doing the FGC stuff and all that, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel because that way all these people who I met along the way can like find me on YouTube immediately and all this stuff. Like, what if he knew in the back of his mind he could get a following because of that? Deep down, I wonder. You know what I mean?
Internet famous, making that bag, as they say.
Okay, who taught him this? Who taught him making that bag? I want whoever who taught him that to shut up and never talk again. He has said this so much. This is the new DSPism. Make that bag. Everything, every time, and it's so fucking cringe, dude. It's so cringe.
How can I turn my presence of being a Street Fighter player online into a way to make like money for myself and make a living and this, rather than, oh, you know, this is
And it's also funny that DSP has a history of projection all the time. So this kinda in a way like validates my theory a little bit, because it could be him projecting how he viewed his own channel and how he started his channel and all that.
a way to basically, how can I say it? There's, you know, you can say that there were pro players of sports as well back in the day who did it for the love of the game. And then people argue that today the only reason that there's pro players is because they make money, right? You could argue that. Now, I mean, that's kind of what I saw, especially around the era of Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, when everything became you have to sign with a team, you have to have a million sponsorships.
How does he know this about the current FGC? How does he know everyone has to sign with a team? Like, I don't know this either because I don't fucking do FGC stuff. I don't go to Evo, obviously. So, is that what happens? I mean, I guess I can understand like sponsors and all this stuff, but does that really happen? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess DSP would know more, right? But I just have feelings like kind of half truth baked into other stuff too as well. Like, because I'm sure there are people who sign with teams and all that stuff, but I don't think that's everyone.
More about that than the actual love of the game. There were pro players out there who say they don't like it. I don't like Street Fighter V, but I play it because, you know, it's a way to make money.
How does he know this? Like, yeah, everyone didn't really like Street Fighter V, but the people who played it professionally or whatever for Evo probably just wanted to play it just because they like fighting and that kind of setup. I don't know. Like, it's really whatever. You know, you can't really speak for everyone and all this stuff. Like, again, how does he know all this? How can he know all of this and how other people are feeling?
It's ridiculous, right? But anyway, I digress. Over the years, I fell out of love with the Street Fighter community, and I decided to do my own thing on YouTube, and that's fine, right?
Like, how does he know that? How does he know no one who plays fighting games love fighting games? Like, maybe they don't like Street Fighter V specifically, but they like fighting, like fighting in tournaments and just the act of fighting in fighting games or whatever. The competitive nature. I don't know. Whatever.
First of all, I want to clarify just to show you this tweet. It's on my Twitter account. This is not me responding directly to this guy in any of kind of a manner.
Now, see, DSP doesn't understand how Twitter works, right? He this is pretty much him saying that much. When you quote retweet someone, you get a notification, right? And every time it's always someone reacting to what they see. So DSP's reacting to this, saying his own opinion about it. And DSP thinks that the guy cannot respond to him or take it another way. Again, people can read what you're saying and they can misinterpret what you mean or anything like that. And instead of like DSP explaining himself about the tweet, like, oh no, I didn't mean to shit on him. I'm sorry that I'm sorry. This would be actually the one time DSP can actually say, I'm sorry you took it the wrong way. For once he can actually say that and it would make sense. But he can say, like, I'm sorry you took it as a slight against you or whatever. What I really was talking about was just, you know, the act of having a cabinet or whatever. I mean, again, it's really one of those things. It's like you're kind of making needless drama when you don't really need to. When you could have made an alternative tweet that could have been more positive than what this is. Like, again, I kind of think it's lame for people to just shit on the past this way. And, like, everyone is cringe when you're young. Everyone's cringe. I don't care who you are. You're cringe when you're young. But you don't have to look back at it and be like, oh my god, I was so awful back then. Like, come on. Like, you know?
This is just something for me posting for my own followers on my own Twitter account. This is not intended for anyone else to take it any other way. This is me relaying to you guys who know me on my history. You know I've fallen out of love with competitive Street Fighter. You know that Street Fighter 6 was the first time I actually played Street Fighter in a bajillion years in any competitive capacity.
So just because it's on DSP's Twitter, that means it's like that means all of the ownership that dude had of that tweet is removed and it becomes his tweet. That's kind of like wait a second, is that stealing? That's like if I take DSP's content, upload on my channel, and say, well, DSP can't be mad, man. I'm just taking his videos and putting on my channel. I'm not responding to him. I'm just having him on my channel, dude. It's not exactly the same, but it's really weird that he says this about retweeting someone. I wasn't saying this to, like, I put it on my Twitter account, okay? It's mine.
Right? You know all about my history.
So yeah, but when you fucking respond to him, he gets a notification. So is he supposed to know this before he responds to you, DSP? Like, I just love every time, like, every time someone has responds to DSP, they have to do like all this research before they come up with a response. But DSP does not have to do anything in return. Like, DSP expects Guile Winquote to fucking do all this massive learning about DSP and his history in the FGC before he could dunk on him. But DSP retweeted his fucking image without even knowing who the guy was. So how come DSP can do all this stuff towards people that he doesn't know, but no one else can do the same to him? Wow, funny how that is, huh?
This is a reiteration of that. You know, I'm basically saying, when I was in my youth, I aspired to have something like this game room. Now here I am, 40 years old. I have no aspirations whatsoever.
So, if he thought that, why did he feel the need to rope in Guile Wincoat into it? Why bring him into your shit? If this was a post that was meant to be for your followers and only for your followers, private your account then, dude. Or, you just make the tweet without retweeting someone else's tweet to make the post. It's really lame to just use someone else's, like, tweet that's meant to be, like, a positive, like, oh, look at this, into, like, a flex about how much you love your life right now. Like, it's really lame, and you're kind of a shit, like, it's not a big deal, as I said before, but you're just kind of a shitty person by just constantly doing this. Like, how many times do you have to validate your life to us, DSP? Like, we're not your parents. You don't need to answer to us about how much you love your life. It's really like he's tired of all the trolls saying, DSP hates his life right now, man. And he has to keep telling us this so that we believe it. So we know he believes it by saying it so many times. But it just makes him seem more insecure. If you really feel, like, content with your life, are you going to spend your time telling us how content you are?
To have anything like that. And now I see a ton of people who aren't even necessarily, like, prominent big players in the competitive fighting community, just normal gamers, are wanting to have cool arcade game rooms like this. Go figure how society has changed. Back in the day, this was the exception to the rule. This was like an oddity that you would have that. Someone would go to your house.
So back in the day, you would aspire to have this, but back in the day, this is weird.
To see that and be like, what are you, a weirdo? Do you have a game room in your house? What are you doing? Today,
I don't think anyone back then would care that much. See, DSP lives in sitcom land where sitcoms and TV treated gamers so fucking weird. Like, really go back and watch any, like, old sitcom, like Full House or whatever the fuck. And when you see, like, a dude who plays video games, they always frame them as, like, such weird people. And it's like, what? Oh, you like it kind of, like... it kind of reinforces all these, like, stigmas and stereotypes about anything. It's really lame. Like, it goes back to, like, so I follow this Twitter account called, like, Ancient Memes, and they just post really old-ass memes, and it's always, like, when you get to the old classic gamer memes, it's really cringe. Like, I don't have one life, I have many lives, or whatever. It's like the Skyrim guy with all these, like, video game characters or whatever. It's really fucking, like, that's, like, one cringe thing you've seen. Like, that kind of stuff. And DSP, like, lives in that kind of world, dude. Like, come on, no one would care, because the thing is, like, entertainment rooms are, like, what people kind of want, you know? And arcades are kind of cool regardless of who you are. I think people would be cool, you know, wow, you have an arcade in your house, wow. Like, go watch, like, go watch a Boomer movie. The Boomers, some movies, was it Richie Rich, or is it called something else? I keep thinking it's something else, but I keep thinking it's Richie Rich. I don't remember. But they have this kid who has a big mansion, and he has, like, a McDonald's, video games, all this stuff. Everyone wanted this in their house. They thought it was cool. The people that DSP thinks, like, oh, it's not cool, the not cool crowd, are, like, the gamer nerds or whatever. Like, this is why I don't believe his stories of him being a victim of bullying, because this dude, like, acts like a bully. Because he knows what bullies go after all the time. And it's like, how would you know that? You know what I mean? But again, he also lives on TV too, probably.
It's cool. You post up about it on Twitter, right? Oh, wow, look at this. I have a game room at my house. This is neat. And like I said, it's not just people that are prominent top players. Everyone's doing it. And that's cool. You know, even got celebrities like, I know AJ Styles, the pro wrestler. He absolutely loves arcade games. He has a whole arcade in his house. Is he known as a competitive gamer? No. but he loves it. It's his hobby, outside of his job as being a pro wrestler. So now,
Okay.
this has become a lot more prominent.
See, this is what's stupid. This is really stupid that DSP thinks that, like, gamers is, like, such a... It's kind of the meme of, like... I don't... Of, like, the gamers are truly oppressed or whatever. Like, that whole fucking meme. Because, like, it's just a hobby. Anyone can have a hobby of gaming. It's not like a specific thing. It's not special at all. Like that. This is like what a kid thinks. Like, wow, he likes gaming too. Like, dude, when you become an adult, dude, and you start to realize that people just like things, you realize people like things. I'd be more. The only thing I'd be surprised with, okay, is if like Keanu Reeves tells us how he loves the manga Kakegurui. Okay, I'd be surprised by that, obviously.
Mainstream. And all I'm doing is making an observation that when I was a kid, right, this was kind of something to aspire to if you were part of the FGC. If you had a room like this, you made it.
I mean,
even if you're
there's like a video or a picture of like Bob Odenkirk and David Cross playing Super Smash Brothers. And everyone loves that image, dude. It's such a cool image. Same with George Costanza. Like, they have him like playing the GameCube as well. There are all these people playing the GameCube. I just kind of realized the GameCube got all the celebrities.
Top player or not, if you had a room like that, people would be jealous of you. Wow, you made it. Wow, this is cool. Because you made it to the top of the FGC, you can have your own game set up. You can practice at home instead of having to go to the arcades, right? So, there's no dig here. There's no insult whatsoever. Doesn't matter how you interpret it. It's not what it is. At face value, it's something for my own
But
followers.
see how like defensive he is? It's not a dig. No matter how it doesn't matter how you interpret it, okay? But that's not kind of how it works. If you didn't intend it as a dig to the guy, then you would just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, like you took it the wrong way. I didn't mean it that way." Like, see, this dude tells us how he's changed and he's such a better person, but this dude hates apologizing. He only apologizes when he can make money off it. That's it. Like when he went back to Twitch, he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't go back to Twitch when you guys told me to." He only apologized because he made money on Twitch. And all of this stuff. Like, "Oh, I got like a new camera, man. I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you guys." Yeah, because he can make money off it. Whatever. But when it comes to like being genuinely sorry, oh no, fuck you. Okay.
To digest, it's in context to things that I say and do on my own streams, right? That's all it is. Again, I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. I literally know nothing about him. I didn't click on his profile. I didn't look at nothing. I just saw this post on Twitter and said, "Oh, that's kind of interesting. This guy has a really cool game room." And that's something that at one point in my life I wanted. Here I am 40 years old. It's the last thing I would want in my life. I wouldn't want a game cabinet in my house. You know what I mean?
The gamer man. The last thing I want is an arcade cabinet. There was like a brief little stint in September or August where he was kind of dabbling with the idea of getting that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 one-up cabinet or whatever the fuck. Like, he was kind of dabbling that idea. But I just love that he just wanted to bring this up to be like, "Oh man, I wanted this at one point, but now I would never want it, man." And it's cool. Why not just say, "This is a very cool collection. I really like this collection of cabinets. I don't want it, but this is really cool to see," or whatever. Why not just say that? Like, his tweet just kind of focuses on like how happy he is that he's not where he was, you know? And it's like, why say that? Why not just say, "Oh, I'm happy with where I am right now. Like, I wouldn't want an arcade cabinet in my house, but this is like a really cool setup." Why not just say that? No, that's a little too positive. You can't be that positive, right? Like, and everyone always says like how, people, this guy's such a fake positivity guy. And I get that. But at the same time, you don't have to sit there and be like pessimistic and depressed all the time to be real. Like, it's one thing to be like, "Wow, man, everything's so cool, man. Wow, holy crap, man." And be like, "Yeah, dude, this is kind of cool, man. Whatever." Like, It's so funny to me that no one can really be themselves online. Like when you reach popularity, dude, or whatever, apparently you can't be yourself. You know what I mean?
So that's all it is. It's an innocent observation and kind of a comparison of me uh, as younger versus older. All right, Black Lady Walking, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Now,
I
and anyone else is going to
I always
observation.
I will never get tired. I will never hate it. I will always love it. When DSP's in a rant about anything, and he then says, "Okay, insert username. Goodbye." I it's always a hype moment for me. I always love, like, it's just the tone. Like, the best one, honestly, is Major Riot. That I was watching a classic Tevin video, and oh man, I kind of want to download that clip and just have it, just to have it on my on my Stream Deck and just play it. It's such a good clip. Okay, goodbye. I'm done, man. I'm done. The fucking anger he throws onto people is it never gets old.
And kind of a comparison of me as younger versus older. All right, Black Lady Walking, goodbye. You're out. And anyone else is going to say that it's a dig, you're out. Just leave now. Because you're here for an agenda, and I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. Okay?
You're here for an agenda. Now, remember, guys, he's open to other opinions, man. A dude said there, like, hey, I think this guy could take it the wrong way. Okay, you're out. Bye. Goodbye. I don't know the exact phrase that Black Lady Walking said, but the thing is that Black Lady Walking is literally a reference to the fucking meme that he said in that one playthrough of that game that no one remembers. Like, someone, I wonder if someone ever, like, edit this where it says, okay, Black Lady Walking, goodbye, and then it cuts to that the epic joke punchline where it brings up the gun and boom. I will say that part of the joke is kind of hard to hear because his voice pops. It pops off. Like, what the fuck did he just say? I had to hear it a few times for me to hear that. I guess he says that that she'd pull out a gun to. I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, you too.
Okay, you too.
Here it is, because here it is. Here's all the sneak dissing idiots. Okay? Here's one, too. Here
but
we go.
Snow Carl stays, though. Snow Carl gets to stay. For you know why. You know why.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. Okay? Okay, you too.
Okay.
Goodbye. Here it is, because here it is. Here's all the sneak dissing
The
idiots.
teacher voice.
Okay?
The teacher voice comes out.
Goodbye.
Oh, wait, class. Okay. One went to the principal's office. Anyone else wants to go? Anyone else? Okay, you. Bye. Go. This dude, like, I wonder if at one point in his life did he want to be a teacher? He wanted to be a teacher just to punish people, not to teach. Like he'd probably be a terrible teacher, but he would love. I say this all the time about him because it's always true. This dude gets off to the power he has as a fucking channel owner. He gets off to fucking banning and people apologizing to him. Dude, there must be some fucked up shit in the bedroom, you know what I mean? I mean, we already know it with the scat stuff, for sure. For sure, there's diaper poop stuff going on, and a lot of power plays going on, too. I guarantee it.
And you too. And by the way, these are all the sneak dissing regulars that sit here, and they just sit here doing this constantly.
So why do you keep them?
They're not coming back. Don't even ask to come back. Because now, here's what I get to do.
No, he says, oh, don't even ask to come back. No, they'll be back in one way or another. Be it sock accounts, and he'll know it's a sock account because he might sometimes, if they're lucky enough, he'll say, I know you're a sock account, okay, but we'll keep you around or whatever. But really think back to the Bugsnax debacle, the 50-bit bitch segment, where he yelled and cried about an Instar Rune and shat on the dude and shot on everyone around that guy. And they all got banned. He yelled at them. The next day, they're back. And then Instar Rune gets dunked on about being a 50-bit bitch and all this stuff. And then, like, it was a massive, like, clown show. it was kind of like, it kind of made me feel bad about the people who went back, because it really is like, you like, this dude like shat on you and you went back to him. And I say this about everyone that does it because it's always sad, but at the same time also funny. Like, Swaggins is like the king of it, the king of that. Because Swaggins made such a big stink about leaving DSP to then come back, and then become a mod again, and all this stuff. Like, it's a massive clown show. Like, it's why, like, I feel like to a degree when people leave the DSP sphere to join the detractors, there's like there's like an instant stigma that makes the detractors seem like unwelcoming. But the thing is that like, there's so many people that do it and then they go back to DSP when they don't get the attention they want. Like, if you hold out and stay like against DSP, like, a lot more people will be more welcoming about it. Like, I always stay optimistic to a degree about it, but like, yeah, if you go back to them, you get what you get, dude. Because like, it's so fucking lame. This dude will like fucking cuss you out, shit on you, and then you're gonna come back to him. Like, come on, have a backbone. That's all like the trolls want, dude, for you to have a backbone.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God that I can now look at this nonsense and get these idiots out of here, and we can have a good day without this bullshit, right?
Right?
This is not a dig. You're an idiot if you think it is. Like, no, I'm gonna be very transparent with you now, okay? If you think that's a dig,
I love that he did this, took away the tweet, so he's just pointing up to nothing.
You're genuinely stupid.
And remember when the meme of this was that his face would be like close up, and now it's like not. Like, it kind of defeats the whole meme, because this dude has like such a narcissism with his face. You see it in a lot of Z emotes where like the emote has to have like like kind of the face mask lines of his face. Like, that has to show at all times. That cannot be interrupted. Like, I always love the vintage mic placement with the pop filter when he would lean in band, because it would literally cover his face, and it was always funny when he would just band, he'd be like, "Oh, it was literally this. All right, you're banned, and it was always funny. It was always funny. Should I keep this? I just don't think it's like that fun. You know what I mean? I don't think pop filters are fun at all.
Like, you don't have a leg to stand on. You're a moron.
You're a moron.
I don't know the guy. I'm not taking a dig at him. It's an observation based on my own history, my own experience in life. It's even me talking about me today versus me when I was younger, right? It has nothing to do with that guy whatsoever. I could have taken a picture from anyone's home arcade. It had nothing to do with a dig at anyone. All right, no insult.
But the thing is that it says literally in the tweet, I see a lot of people who are not competitive have this. Go figure. Like, you're gonna get clowned anyway. You're gonna get clowned on for like that reason. Like, oh, you're dunking that guy? And you're also getting clowned on for like needlessly gatekeeping arcade cabinets. It's a dunk. It's like a clown post, no matter how you slice it. Because again, why even involve him in your fucking little like cope about your life?
And it's in my own Twitter. I didn't go to his Twitter and respond.
Okay, so how many people have retweeted DSP? I just want people to like make a new account, make a brand new account on Twitter, retweet his tweets and say shit about him, and tell me, like, just say, don't even name him in the dunk, just like retweeted a tweet saying, I remember when I used to play this game and I hated it, or whatever the fuck, whatever, like, and say like only noobs, I don't know, like, be creative. I can't make your tweet for you, dude, and tell me if he blocks you, like make it kind of like, you know what I mean, because he probably would. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he wouldn't. But maybe he would. Because I still think it's funny that he blocked me on Twitter for defending Street Fighter 5. Like, that's literally my tweet. I just said, like, Street Fighter 5 is, like, was fun. And then he blocked me for it. which is a block I would never expect to get. Like, I would expect to get blocked for, like, many other things, which I didn't say because I didn't really want to say the things because I knew he'd block me, so I didn't say it. But I just sat there and was like, yeah, Street Fighter 5 is a good game. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Then I got blocked. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I don't remember the exact tweet. I don't want to go back and find it because it's like 2016, I want to say, and that's too far back.
In his own timeline, I did it on mine. If you think that's a dig, you're genuinely stupid and you have no place on my stream. And you're gone. I just banned 4 or 5 people who are regulars. No, they're regular sneak dissing idiots.
So I love that he bans people for thinking that. Just for thinking that. But if, let's say that you think that and you don't understand the concept, dude, but you're just trying to, like, get a better understanding of it, you get banned? Like, what kind of ban is this? See how inconsistent the rules are? Where in the rules does it say you can't, like, question what he says? The rules are be respectful, don't mention trolls, which is kind of funny because they still mention trolls anyway. Don't promote, don't spam, whatever. But they're literally responding to a tweet that DSP made and just was saying stuff that DSP doesn't agree with. Okay.
So they're out and they're not coming back. I'm happy about this.
He's happy.
Okay.
Okay.
So now let's continue. All right?
But they'll be back. Don't worry. Black
Man
Man Walking will come back as...
Of course. Why would I think anything of it?
Black Man Walking.
I go to sleep, and I wake up this morning, and this is what I wake up to, of course. Of course, my timeline has to be full of disgusting insults and nasty shit, but not just from...
A bunch. Just, and he shows one tweet. And I guarantee if you go through the natural replies, it's the usual suspects. The same people who always shit on him, and he's like, oh, man. Like, but like the thing is that he tells us every day how he's always being made fun of and how he's okay with it and he deals with it. But then he goes into mega victim mode over this.
From this person, but a million others. So here it is. The guy insults me out of nowhere. I did not insult him. I didn't take a dig at him. I don't know who this person
All the dude said was that you're irrelevant. Like, DSP, do you want him to make fun of Cat? I guess these people should just make fun of his wife all the time, right? Or make fun of his gout, or make fun of his personal life, right? That's what they should do. Because apparently, like, I just think it's funny that this dude got so offended by him just calling him irrelevant. Maybe, I got it. It's the thumbs up. That's what did it. Because there is a whole fucking article. I'm gonna say this. I have a theory about this fucking article I've been seeing around. I'm calling bullshit on it. But so there's this article running around saying, oh, Zoomers or millennials, whatever the fuck that is the meme to go against, I guess, is trying to cancel the thumbs up emoji on Reddit. And I'm just sitting there thinking, you know what? I bet you it's these fucking boomers. Because who runs the country? A bunch of old fuckers. Like Betty Biden, Mickey McConnell, the boomers, right? The boomers. They're all running the fucking government and shit. They want to hide in the back, and they want to distract us from what they're doing by pitting people against other people. Like, he's trying to pit all these like generations against each other so that they can do whatever the fuck they want, and we don't have to deal with it. Obviously. So the whole like thumbs up emoji, brand new tactic. Brand new. Who knows what these boomers are doing? Anyways, so apparently like people are getting upset with like the thumbs up emoji being passive aggressive, which I get a sense of like, yeah, a lot of people use it for that, and they use it also not for that. Again, who fucking cares? Is a fucking emoji. I just think that whole article is dumb. I've seen that article spread around a few places. I'm like, this article is like, it kind of comes up as a comedy article because I really find it that hard to believe that we're gonna start banning people over thumbs up. But whatever, we've seen sillier things, right? Anyways, it might have been the thumbs up. DSP might have shown this tweet to Kat, and Kat told him, "Phil, you know, Reddit said that the thumbs up emoji is bad." And he's like, "It is? Oh, this fucking guy, man." What if that's what happened?
Person is, right? No idea. Let's insult this guy, right? let's insult Phil because it's easy to do because it's the same thing. Now here's a couple things I have to say about this. First of all right? It's not like this is the first time this has happened. It's not the last time this is going to happen. This is regular on the internet. People are toxic to me who I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. I didn't insult him. I'm not toxic to him at all. I know nothing at all about this guy. Let's insult Phil, right? But the thing that gets me about it, all right, is that the hilarious part about it is it's the same fucking meme again. It's not even like you could take a dig and be like, yeah, well, you sucked at Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I did. Like, I would be like, you got me. I was terrible this weekend at Street Fighter 6. It wasn't until my 6th session.
Look at this. You're not making fun of me about how I play Street Fighter 6. Yeah, because you have a defense for that. But since they're attacking you for your precious Street Fighter 2 win, oh man, these fucking guys saying the same meme.
That it clicked and I started to understand game mechanics of Street Fighter 6 and shit like that, right?
Troll the right way.
He literally takes a dig based on something from 2005 that's been factually disproven.
How?
Time and time and time again.
This dude literally did not because after that tournament win for Evo 4th place, they wanted to do a rematch and he didn't want to do it. But yeah, then he tells us how he kept fucking qualifiers. And Jaha shouts out, made a tweet saying that back then, during the whole time when DSP got all those qualifiers, it was all a broken system that he exploited, which is, what a shocker, right? DSP found a system that he could exploit. This dude, is the massive cheese finder. Honestly, he could get paid for this. He could get paid to find loopholes in anything. This dude is such a greasy motherfucker. He's so greasy. This dude can slip through anything. YouTube starts paying people to make videos about vlogs. He is there instantly making vlogging videos. Oh, I can make money on gaming videos? 10-minute gaming videos. Upload it en masse. Okay. Oh, I could do this. He does it. This dude is a massive cheese finder. He plays a video game. He plays fucking Dark Souls Redemption Run. He happens to find the cheesy weapon and he uses it the whole run, jeopardizing the Redemption Run. This dude it's incredible. So, yeah, he brags about how he placed all these qualifiers, but it's also kind of shitty that he went out of his way to make sure that that it's gate kept from anyone else from entering. That's probably kind of what kills Street Fighter 2, dude, if you think about it, man. Because they probably just didn't want to play it anymore. They're like, we'll have to play this guy because he's gonna fucking gatekeep it. I'll just play another game, and then 2 just became shit. Because I really don't hear a lot of people talking about Street Fighter 2 as much as DSP. So I kind of wonder if that played a part. That people just were like, yeah, fuck this game. If this guy is just gonna run around and gatekeep the qualifiers, why the fuck would I want to play this?
And he rolls with this meme that never dies, even though it's false.
And DSP never really responded to Jaha's response
if you
either.
ask me nicely, DSP, I can turn the PS1 version of Super Turbo on my cabinets so you can reminisce on the last time you were ever relevant in this community. Right? So it's an insult. Basically, he's saying you were only relevant in the broken PS1 version of Super Turbo. Okay.
He didn't say it was broken. He just said, reminisce by the time you were at Evo in 2005. Where did he say it was broken, dude? Why are you misinterpreting what he said, man? Why are you spinning it negatively?
As if I haven't responded to this enough. All right? Allow this to be my formal response to every dim-witted person on the internet who wants to use this meme. Okay, you ready? This is my formal response. Okay?
Okay.
In the time that it took you to boot up PS1 Super Turbo, which, by the way, it's hilarious you have it. Why do you have it?
It's probably a
I don't have it.
collection.
I'm the one who apparently gets all the clout about this version of the game, and I don't have it, but you have it. Okay? In the
Well, you didn't want it.
That it took you to do this and boot this up, and take a picture and post it on your Twitter to insult me.
This dude is really dumb, because if you even look back, I'm probably gonna kill my fun by doing this because of classic Apple business. Sorry, I'm doing this to everyone. Sorry, but it's gonna be something. We're almost there. We're almost there. Just a few more days. I hate his Twitter, man. I hate his Twitter. It's like a bot. At some point, Twitter is gonna decide we're gonna remove like these kind of tweets. But I guess it would be kind of hard to prove, though, because of whatever. But it's so fucking lame. Because this dude got so... Oh my god, this is gonna be another rant. Because it's so lame. This dude got so butthurt over, like, when he... In, like, 2018, that all these people were, like, responding to his tweets and, like, dunking on him, that he decided, I'm gonna just not talk and just do this. This is stuff that you do, like... Let's say you have a Facebook account, and you start posting stuff, and then your parents start, like, talking to you about what you post. I saw that you posted this. Why did you post that? And then you're like, oh my god. And he's like, I don't want to keep answering to this. And then you just stop posting. That's what DSP did. He acts as if like his parents like emailed him like, hey DSP, you're saying too many things. Stop it. Get help. Not this tweet. So you look at this, right? All the screens are on. So you could probably assume that these were already on by default and you just took a picture of them. But there's also like a switch, whatever. You know, this is like a dumb thing to dunk on, honestly. But, you know.
You could have taken literally a fraction of that time to use your digits and go on the internet and look up the fact that it wasn't just that time that I placed in Super Turbo. That over the course of a 2 to 2.5 year period after that, I was one of the top ranked Super Turbo players in every version of the game ever that was played in tournament. All right? PS1.
But these are all just qualifiers. All that, like, the reason why no one cares about this, they talk about the Evo placement, because surprise, surprise, Evo, he got 4th place in. Evo. These other things he brings up are all qualifying matches. These aren't like these aren't like end results. This is like, okay, you're able to like fight, but he kind of admits that. And that's why no one talks about it, because that's not important. No one cares. And like John said that openly, that these those qualifier matches that he's so proud of were all like exploitable. Like, these are all like, you know, broken. It was a broken system, whatever. So what if John knows this? Let's assume everyone in the FGC like knew that. Why would they bring it up then? If it was such a broken system, then no one's gonna care about it.
PS2, including...
It's kind of like how many videos DSP uploads, and DSP being proud of that. Is that really being proud of? Like, you're just kind of just uploading videos like every day. It's not really that impressive, because it's to be expected. You know what I mean?
Edition, as well as the Capcom Classics Collection 2. Okay? Dreamcast versions that were run. Arcade versions that were run. I mean, hell, there's footage of me beating Seth Killian in the finals of EVO East on YouTube right now. Hell, you can look at tournament results and you can see in 2007. I won so many tournaments in Super Turbo during the EVO qualification season. I had like 7 qualification spots for EVO finals. They had to give other people my spots.
Look at that. He's like bragging about this. I took 7 seats from other people that wanted to play, man. Am I cool? This is probably why a lot of people hate him in the first place, honestly, because he took 7 seats from people. Just took them. He didn't need to. He just wanted to. And then he's like, why do people hate me, man? Damn, DSP, I don't know. If a teacher gave us 5, like, gave people, like she had 5 people, right? And she was going to give cookies to those 5 students, and I took all 5 cookies, would I be the most popular kid in school? Man.
Because I would have been entered into the finals like 5 times. I would have been playing myself. Okay? They had to give other people, lower ranking people, spots. Oh, by the way, it wasn't just me playing competitive in Super Turbo. It was also me being a tournament organizer. I ran tons of tournaments on the East Coast, including the biggest tournament on the East Coast Championships. It was me and Josh Wigfall teaming up to run it with Chris Cotty in New Jersey. We ran it, the biggest one. People absolutely loved the tournament. We got nothing but positive feedback. Okay? So when you like to use this meme, the only time you were ever prominent was a broken version of PS1, instead of doing this, all right, and embarrassing yourself, do this.
I know, I think this is more embarrassing because he's going out of his way to talk about all this stuff that people don't care about. Because if that was so truly, like, things that people really cared about, then why haven't anyone talked about this? How come you don't see people, like, saying, oh, man, I remember this one tournament, it had this guy, that guy, and Philip Burnell, he was running it too. It's really a cool tournament. They don't run it like that anymore. How come you don't see people say that anymore? How come no one longs for the time that DSP was a tournament runner? How come everyone shits on this guy when it comes to that? Oh, because he was the Edward Snowden of the FGC, man. Because he knew rollback was shitty and they hate him for it. But remember, guys, there were no grudges back then. But apparently there were at the same time. But they weren't. But they were. But they weren't.
And actually looks at something on the fucking internet for 5 seconds. Because this is ridiculously embarrassing. Okay? It is. I'm not going to argue with you that I'm not prominent anymore. I'm not relevant anymore. I don't claim to be. When did I say I was relevant in the FGC? Right?
Okay.
When did I say...
Dude, just get the clown makeup on. Then why are you mad? Why are you mad then? I know I'm not relevant, man. I know I'm not. Okay, so why are you mad? He's mad that this dude says that... Like, what's he mad about then? Like... Oh god. I think it probably, like, the whole, it would take, blah, blah, that whole thing, it probably would have taken him less time to just roll with this, and instead of, like, being this butthurt about it. Because think about it, he not only retweeted this and with his rebuttal, he then dedicated a segment of his podcast to talk about it. It probably would have saved him more time to just be like, okay, He could have just said, pay my flight ticket. I don't know. Like, he could have just done whatever. Or just, like, I don't know. He could have just figured something else out. Or just be like, no, actually, like, look at the buttons. It looks like they could drop connections, man. Instead, he decides to, like, be buttered about it. Which is, like, I always think about the phrase, kill him with kindness. And he could have just done that. He could have just, like, played with it, and then people would have just moved on. But the thing is that it's impossible for DSP to do that because he's not funny. Because if you were to play off with this, it'd probably be the most cringy joke ever. That it would just be like, And then it just would have been better just to ignore it, which would have saved us more time than this, you know.
Anything about the FGC, it's some fringe opinion from some wild old man, right? No one listens to me. No one cares. I know that.
You're irrelevant. Oh my god! He says I'm irrelevant. I know I'm irrelevant, okay? Like, no, listen to me, man. Okay, so why are you mad then? Why are you freaking out? If that's the case, then shouldn't you just move on?
I'm in my own lane, way the fuck over here away from you. All right? Understand that. And by the way, I want to be away from you. I don't want to be involved. Because here's the thing. This is the modern FGC. You guys ask me all the time, Phil, do you want to be part
This
of
is the modern FGC. I say I'm irrelevant. They say I'm irrelevant. See how fucked up it is? Yeah, man. I see how fucked up it is.
Again, would you ever go back to competitive Street Fighter? Here is your answer. No. This is why I wouldn't want to be. Because this is everything wrong with the modern FGC.
Now, I love that, like, he says, this dude was so negative back then, though. He threatened people all the time. He even admitted that. Like, oh, back then when I was doing all these tournaments, I was shitting out people in Instant Messenger, man. All this stuff. He was being a shitty person all the time back then. There's all these radio call-ins with like Triforce Gamer and all this Triforce Gamer? Is that what he's called? I don't know. All these people, and he's like telling them how he wants to beat them up, he hangs up and all this stuff, whatever. Then comes up the next day with his hands behind his back. Oh, I'm just a little baby, man. Don't beat me up. I'm gonna wet myself, dude. And then the guy is like, okay, this guy's pathetic, and then walks off. But oh, it was so much better back then, man. Not like today, where people just say, lol. I did it for the lulz. And I just also want to bring up, like, there's all these accusations from out of the FGC, and like, if you're like skeptical with any accusation that comes up, okay, I'm not. The point of this isn't to like win people over with it, but there's all these accusations of like sexual harassment and all this stuff that goes on in the FGC. But DSP tells us this is what's wrong. The Mr. Wizard accusations come out. Well, it happened even when I was in the FGC, man. But I didn't say anything. Very positive, very cool. He says that kind of shit and all this stuff, but a dude calls him irrelevant. This is what's wrong with the FGC. Like, I've heard more compelling arguments about what's wrong with the FGC than this. Like, if I didn't hear these accusations about like sexual harassment, and all that kind of stuff, and this is the only thing I heard about, I would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you a fucking baby? Because at least with those accusations, I can kind of understand why people might see the FGC as a toxic group. But DSP wants to group himself with those other people with this. And like, no matter where you land on it, it's like, if you're told from like 5 people about sexism, misogyny, all this kind of stuff with the FGC community versus this, you're probably gonna sit there and be like, okay, these people, like, I can understand, and like, that is kind of fucked up if true, whatever. But then this is like a clown. It's a clown show. And to a degree, it kind of like undermines the actual issues that goes on with other groups today. Which I also want to specify, I'm not necessarily saying that that's what DSP is like adding to, intentionally or not, but it's still like, you hear all these stories about the FGC, and then you hear this, and it's like, this is what's wrong? This? There's like worse stuff that's going on out there than what this is.
Full, right? Incorrect, not even willing to spend 5 seconds looking up anything on the internet to actually find out what they're talking about. Only in it for the clout and for the clicks, right? Because no one's going to correct this guy.
But the other thing is that, like,
talking about.
But this is also like the what happens when you're a has-been, dude, and when you become irrelevant, no one really cares. Like, there's all these actors, like child actors, that were at the peak of the game when they were younger. They've fallen out of prominence to the point where like no one cares about them, and they could have been in multiple movies, and no one cares about those other movies they've been in because they're not prominent anymore. Like, DSP keeps talking about Harold Ramis in fucking Ghostbusters. Did DSP watch any of the other movies or works that Harold Ramis was in that's not Ghostbusters? He only talks about Ghostbusters. Does he care about his other work? No. Like, this is what happens when you become irrelevant and out of prominence. No one cares about the other stuff you've done because you're not relevant anymore. And he's crying about this, and then says, I know I'm irrelevant. This is what's so dumb about this whole thing.
DSP was actually very prominent for several years. He ran tournaments. No one's going to say that. All they're going to say is, oh, he's a joke. Because this is what they do.
Well, look where you are. The thing is like, oh, he's a joke. You are a joke. Yet, like, even, okay, let's all, like, agree with DSP on this, that he did all these cool things in the FGC back in the day, right? But where did that potential lead him to? He didn't want to be a fighting game commentator. He was offered to do that, turned it down. He then started playing games. People started making fun of how he played those games. And he got mad and butthurt, and all this stuff is going on where he became like a fucking baby. So I'm sorry, DSP, you could tell us every day till the cows come home how you were such a respectable fighting game player back in the day. That doesn't change you're a joke now, and no one will care because of that. Like, it's really, like, you could say it's sad or whatever, but that's just the nature of the beast. You become irrelevant, and how you become such a joke now makes people not give a shit. And that's the thing, like, this is why, like, these people could, like, solve the cure for cancer, and no one will care. Because it's DSP. You're really gonna give this guy clout? He doesn't deserve it. Every time he has been given it, he squanders it. And this dude is such a baby. He's such a baby. Cries about every little thing until he gets his little way. Like, recently, he had one bad day of streaming, and he was, like, going into baby mode. Literal baby mode. He might as well be crying on stream. He might as well be red in the face, tears running from his eyes, like doing that like a fucking baby rage. And then the next day, all these people pampered his ass, gave him all these members, gave him all these viewers, gave him all this money. And it's still not enough for this fucking guy, because this dude has become a baby. This dude has regressed so much, and it's, like, kind of, like, sad. Because literally, you go back and watch his old videos, you really are going to be like, is this a different guy? Because there really is. Insane, dude.
You know what I'm saying? This is exactly what they do. This is the modern FGC. So what incentive would I have to try to get good again, or, you know, anything? Oh, by the way, as stupid as it is, obviously if I ever played this guy in Super Turbo, I would wipe the fucking floor with him in any version. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
How do you know that? What, he owns the cabinets, dude. He has all the time in the world to play it. How do you know this?
Argument ever. Like, in the little time that you were pertinent. Yeah, but to this day, I'm the person who every week is playing old school Street Fighter. I played the fucking 30th anniversary collection once a week for 4 years.
Yeah, bum ass game, dude.
I'm still playing the Capcom Fighting collection.
Imagine bragging about playing bum ass games.
To live when no one else is playing it. I'm the one sticking up.
I'm the one.
But go ahead, do your meme, get your clout clicks, you know, because it's all it is. Like, it's like, why would I want to be part of that community? This right here, this post is a prime example of everything wrong with the modern FGC.
The prime example.
They live in their own bubble.
Literally, there's all these other stories. If you look far enough, you'll see like more damning stories about the FGC that can give you an opinion on it one way or the other. But no, ignore that stuff. This is the story you need to listen to. Oh, okay.
Bubble. They live in their fantasy world. They don't want to respect anything. They don't want to research anything. They just want to be in it for the memes and the clout. That's it. They're in it for the lulz. I'm not sorry. That's in their fantasy world. They don't want to respect anything. They don't want to
This dude, I hate this meme so much. They don't want to respect anything. Like, he's talking about, like, why does everyone need to respect everything because it's old? Like, this dude is such a boomer. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's great. A lot of things are old that suck ass. Like, the fucking old-timey cars are old, so we all drive those because they're so old and cool and respected? Like, come on. Like, sometimes old is shit. Come on.
Research anything. They just want to be in it for the memes and the clout. That's it. They're in it for the lulz. I'm not sorry.
Dude, like... How does he know this? How does he know all this from these people? Whatever.
It's never what I was about. You know what I'm saying?
This dude literally made a website called Top Haters. I'm not about the lulz and the memes, dude. I just made a shitposting website called Top Haters where I made fun of everyone. And I threatened people to beat them up all the time, man. Pretty cool, huh?
For me, it was about the love of the game. When I used to play competitive Street Fighter, the reason I did it is because I loved it. It was such a great, awesome, competitive feeling. Standing toe-to-toe with people from all over the world, learning and absorbing when you played against them. And by the way, at the end of the day, with all of the shit-talking and all of the drama that would ever happen in the FGC, at the end of the day, after the match, you shake the hand and you walk away.
This is dumb. This is dumb. He acts as if this doesn't happen. He acts as if, like, they don't shake their hands after the match. They do, though. At least from the streams I watched. Like, come on.
It's that simple. All right? These people aren't about that, man. These people are.
And this is kind of lame he says this, because I'm going to bring up the best example you guys are already see coming a mile away. Skullgirls. There's, like, all these terms, all these people that are, like, passionate about this game. They've carried this game through, like, all this time. Since vanilla. Carried this game, played it, fan art of it, all this stuff, like, all this shit about it. That gets wiped away because of this tweet? What about that, DSP? Why doesn't he respect that? Why doesn't he respect the guiltier crowd? What about the people who carried Revelator? Like, there's, like, I follow this one artist on Twitter that plays a lot of Revelator and you know, all this stuff. Her husband ran all these brackets and tournaments of Revelator 2 and all this stuff, like, you know, built all this big community of it, around it. Why doesn't he give props to that? No, man, look at the common FGC, man. This is really bad, man. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, if you want to see the bad and things, yeah, it's there, I guess. Like, but there's a lot of good in it too. And this dude just focuses on the bad. Mr. Positivity loves talking about the negativity.
Dig the instant clout. Oh, I got over. Look what I got over on Phil. Good for you. You beat up an innocent man who did nothing to you. I didn't dig on you. I like your arcade. I think it's cool.
Why didn't you say that then? And like, oh, you beat up on an innocent man. This dude, I really just want people to, like, just put this into perspective with everything in DSP land, right? He gets false copyright strikes from all these people that interrupt his business flow. He gets people that do all this fucked up shit to him, right? Right? But this dude who just said he's irrelevant gets, like, DSP told us, like, last year or so that he got a death threat. But man, this guy he made irrelevant. He picked on an innocent man, dude. So who cares? If the dude called you irrelevant, who cares? Like, if man, come on.
Really, I think you have a nice home system.
And the other thing he could have really brought up, and again, DSP, it probably didn't understand this, and he probably would do this in the most cringe way possible. DSP could literally just said, "How am I irrelevant? You're talking about me." I don't know, whatever. Like, come on.
One day, I hope a lot of people have the ability to have something like that, you know? And you should be proud that you put together this and, you know, however you did it. Like I said, when I was younger, I wanted something like that too. There's nothing wrong
All
with
this is, it kind of reeks up,
Why
because
did-
DSP is known to do this, in my opinion. That when he sees potential drama coming up, he will always run to talk about it on his little stream and try to downplay it and then try to kiss the ass of the dude he's shitting on at the same time. Which is kind of like a bitch move. Oh man, you're cool, but you fucking are an idiot. But you're cool, man. Idiot. Stupid. But you're cool, man. Makes it look very honest and genuine, right?
Did you insult me? Like, what kind of a person are you? It's fucked up.
And then he's like, I'm just a little man. This is the shit he did when he was gonna get beat up. I was drunk. Do you really want to beat me up? Like, I'll stand perfectly still. Like, he makes himself look like a little bitch in front of everyone because this dude is so fucking pathetic. Man. This dude just has no backbone like his fucking fans. He starts shit, gets called out on it, and then is like, I'm just a little man, dude. I'm just here chilling. Why are you fighting? Why are you picking on me, man? It's really like poking the bee's nest and then being like, why are the bees mad at me, man? I'm just walking by.
To think, and then everyone responding, oh, he got it. He done it.
It's literally the meme of that guy riding a bicycle, and then the guy like puts the pole in the wheel, falls over, and says, the FGC.
DSP is like 4,000 retweets and shit. It's like, what is your problem? Like, do you not understand how dumb you all are? I guess not. And that's the modern FGC. So why the fuck would I want to be a part of you? Right? Like, seriously, why would I want anything to do? Why would I go anywhere near you? I'll stay home. I'll play the games online. I'll rage at the fucking dropped inputs and the lag and all the bullshit, and I'll suck at them. And I'll have fun, you know, with my audience. And that's fine.
Did he have fun?
I don't have to be blatantly insulted for no fucking reason at all. Right?
Right?
Fuck it.
Fuck it, man.
But understand, this mentality is the reason why everyone calls your community toxic. This is exactly why.
This. Not the other stuff that other people can say other things that are probably far worse to be told to people than, no, this is. right here, this tweet, man. If someone tells you that, oh man, this guy was like sexually harassed me, tell them that's nothing. This is worse. Obviously, I'm sure they'd agree with you, and they will appreciate that, right? Like, come on.
This is why right now you can search on YouTube for, oh, the FGC embarrasses itself again compilation. The FGC is cringeworthy compilation. And you see million view videos about how bad the FGC is. Congratulations, you're the poster child now. This is why. Because you act like an idiot. Someone who literally did nothing to you, let's take a stab at him for no good fucking reason.
You retweeted his fucking cabinet, and then like, come on.
You are now an embarrassment. Good for you. I don't know what else to say, you know. I don't know.
I think it's more embarrassing that the dude that was at the top of the game, right, just started playing other games and sucked ass, and then had baby rage moments all the time, right? Like, imagine you ranked 4th place at Evo in 2005, and then like a week ago you cried about how you couldn't pay your bills.
We could have an e-dick measuring contest all fucking day. It doesn't matter if it matters. None of this matters at all. Why you even bother with it? Just because you think you're gonna get some clout clicks, right?
And they have to wear hats and vests and glasses to get to pay the bills.
Fuck you. Really, you're an asshole. That's all I have to say about it. Like, you're a dick. Yeah, I did nothing to you. You want to insult me? Go fuck yourself. Okay. So,
and look how like negative he took it too. Like, look how negative it was. The guy just said he's irrelevant, and he just like went all over the place, and then he just said, "Fuck you, man." Like, that's not really worth that amount of anger. The dude, come on. All right, we're done with that. What is this one? Return to chill. Oh wait, this is the wrong resolution. We gotta do the meme resolution. This is the best resolution. Base resolution.
Before we get to shout outs, because there's a few contributions to shout out before we get to like Q&A and stuff. So after the events of yesterday and the really nasty treatment that I got on Twitter for literally no good reason, just someone deciding to be a scumbag to me who I don't even know, I decided to do something funny. Basically, it was bait, and people are so gullible and stupid that they fell for it.
This is really stupid, because the bait it was just him saying, like, asking people, oh, can you post stuff that I said in the past that, I could pull it up because I'm, like, in that ballpark area. Let's see. No. After the Overwatch 2? I think it was. I'm having a fun time, man. Why don't you support the streams? Here we go. Been scouring Twitter for something to innocently quote tweet before I go to sleep, just so I can be viciously roasted by said party for no good reason in the morning. Reply to this tweet with your suggestions. So I posted the forced laughter image because that makes the perfect sense. But yeah, so all these people, look at these idiots, dude. And where it's just kind of like, just people who don't really give a shit, you know? You're still up at 3 a.m. Maybe you could have recorded those Patreon videos. So it's pretty much people just saying, like, you're up late at night and just doing this, right? But dude, where's the negativity, man?
So last night, I was about to go to sleep. All right, I was actually in bed when I posted this tweet.
But what great bait!
And I'm like, watch this. So I posted up this tweet. It says, "I've been scouring Twitter for something to innocently quote tweet before I go to sleep, just so I can wake up and be viciously roasted by said party for no good reason in the morning. Reply to this tweet with your suggestions that I will never read. Good night."
I don't think he ever said never read. He lied about his own tweet. So I can be viciously roasted by said party for no good reason. Reply to this tweet with your suggestions that oh okay, he did say I will never read. But still the first laughter. Because honestly, this sums up all his jokes. Every time. Every time DSP makes a joke and he thinks he's funny, I just think of this.
Now, if you actually read that and you believe it, you're smart because it was complete bait. All right? I wanted to do essentially a social experiment. I was curious what would happen if I put up a tweet like that with replies open. All right? I was just curious.
Wait, so he left the replies open and people replied. Wow, man. That's crazy. I'm going to do a social experiment. I'm going to upload this video and I'm going to see if people comment on it. Dude, it's going to be wild. Will people comment on it?
Now, here's the truth of the matter is I am never going to read it. There's no point, right? Obviously, it was open-ended on it for a reason. I set it up like that as a trap, essentially. Okay?
What's the trap? What's the trap?
So, as of this morning,
I'm waiting for the trap.
9 hours after the post of that tweet, there were 87 comments.
Okay.
Now, literally, I said in the tweet, reply to this tweet with your suggestions that I will never read. And I am never going to read them.
Now you think in your little mind, right? These people are just posting just for fun. Like, it doesn't take that long to tweet. Like, literally, you could be taking a shit and be tweeting things that DSP loves doing, right? But it's like really stupid. And the other thing is that you could also kind of argue is that people are replying just in the vein so that DSP fans would read it. Because that's kind of the point as well, that people just want to reply to him so that his fans would read it. And then DSP directs his fans to read the replies, which is really good. Really good, right?
I refuse. There was no point because I know anyone who basically replied to that tweet is going to be an insulting negative jerk. That was kind of the point, right? But I was just curious, like, how many people would actually respond? And yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot of dumbasses. Because the thing is, it would be one thing if you'd be like, oh, maybe Phil accidentally left the replies open, right? But I literally say in it, please reply to this tweet, engaging with people to reply to it, but telling you I'm never going to read it. So you're literally just talking to yourself. You're kind of speaking to an echo chamber for yourself to show how toxic you are.
An echo chamber DSP gave us, dude. Pretty cool, huh?
So you might say, well, what's the point of this? The point isn't for me. It's for you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go read up. I'm sure there's some of the most toxic, vile, disgusting things ever said on the internet are probably said in those replies.
So look at that, right? Oh, I will never read it. My fans will. So you want your fans to read toxic shit? So then they could run to your stream chat and regurgitate the toxic memes?
Go for it. Go read up. Go have a social experiment with the dregs of society, right?
Go.
See.
What? So they should have the social experiment? What's their experiment? This dude is just throwing words out just to sound cool. This really just sounds like a coping mechanism that a therapist would tell you to do. Or will actually tell a child to do. Because I feel like if you're an adult, they'd probably tell you to use better coping mechanics. This seems like something that you would do for a child. Like, if you have a kid that has, like, anger problems, this is probably what you tell your kid to do so that they can handle it. Because that's the thing. I feel a lot of the times that when DSP does these kind of segments where they're like, oh, I'm so glad these are all things that children do to, like, cope and all this stuff. To, like, kind of, like, yeah, when your kid is angry, you might help them, like, manage it if they can, like, go and take it out on something and all this stuff. But DSP does it in a way that's, like, kind of negative and not really healthy because he's taking it out on actual people. Like, usually you want your kid to, like, kind of do it into a void. You know, like, sometimes people make, like, a Facebook tweet, a Facebook post, and say, only I can see it. Like, no one else can see it. So that they can vent and get that out of their system. They don't, like, just post it so everyone can read it because that's kind of, like, shitty, you know?
Truly, what is it that lies on the internet? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be involved in it. I refuse. I have no point in reading it because I already know how nasty those people can be. Like, that was literally one of the problems with having open YouTube comments years ago, was that essentially you just allowed these people to sit there and shit on everything. So that's why eventually I closed my YouTube comments, and now I have what they call curated YouTube comments, meaning
It's called
YouTube
approved comments, by the way.
edits a lot of them, and then I
Like it's not
approve
it's not curated or curated or whatever the fuck. It's just like approval,
certain ones to show
whatever.
up on the videos and stuff. But it allows me to control the situation so that toxicity is gone. It's not on my videos anymore. Okay. But essentially, Zen Shuriken hit it on the head. He says, give the kids a nice sandbox to tire themselves out. And exactly right. That's exactly right. It was a social experiment to see if given opportunity in a rare situation, because always my tweets are set that you can't respond unless I follow.
Now you know what's kind of funny about this though. When he first closed replies, he literally said, "Well, I'm gonna like close replies, but I'm gonna leave some replies open on certain tweets or whatever."
What happened? Well, 87 people took the bait, at least as of this morning. I'm sure probably there'll be way more now. But hey, go ahead, read the nonsense, enjoy the basically people. If you read any replies, you can just smile to yourself and say, "Wow, this is a really dumb person." They literally just set themselves up to say something nasty about Phil he will never read, and we can all just laugh at how dumb they are. There you go.
Wow, very positive.
It would literally be like a room with a big sign, and it says, "If you are a dumbass, enter this room." And then morons just keep going in because they're just dumbasses. They can't stop themselves, right? Just because it says it, they've got to do it, right? So they just keep walking in. Next thing you know, the room is wall to wall packed like a can of sardines with idiots.
So
right?
cool.
In it, and
wow, DSP, you got us. You opened replies, then people replied, man. Wow, man, you got them. Even though chances are they probably made those replies just as a shit post, and they probably didn't care. They probably went on their day.
You close the door and you lock it, and you walk away, right? Sadly, you can't do that on Twitter. You know, you just can't. That would be great. Imagine if you could lock all those idiots off Twitter forever. Just be like, oh, you fell for the trap, bye-bye, and you'd permanently ban them all, but...
Isn't that what blocking does? Like, you could block them from reading your Twitter? He kind of does that. The other thing he could also do is make his tweet protected, Twitter protected. He could do that. He should do that, actually. I wonder when we're gonna get that arc in DSP land, when he's gonna decide I'm gonna protect my Twitter, so like now you have to like be approved to join my Twitter account, like, you know.
It is what it is.
When's he gonna do that?
Go ahead,
come on, do it.
Enjoy, and who knows? Leave that tweet running for years and years. They'll probably have 40,000 responses by the end, all people being toxic and disgusting, right? Awesome. Okay. So that's that. Let's get to some shout outs.
All right, we're done with that. Fuck that. I do want to do one more video. I almost went the longest way possible to that.
So, pretty pertinent.
Whoa, not yet. There's one. I didn't prep this one, unfortunately, so it might be rough. I just want the infighting one because I really just want... No, we are not going to watch the beginning. Don't worry. I'm looking out for you guys.
To tears. And I'll be honest, the playthrough didn't get a lot of attention. Good time. It's a good time to be a gamer. We're heading finally into the busy chat crown badge that you'll see in the chat.
Good time to be a gamer.
Re-upping a membership if you had one and enjoy. I die more than you want to be called. And, you know, the message of your tip in the tip when you send it to me.
Oh my God.
In advance, to anyone who supports the channel in any way, as simple as liking that I actually traveled to. And I remember
this dude looks so bad in white shirts.
I think the hot game at that time was like
it's
Marvel
awful.
vs. Capcom 3 or Ultimate Marvel vs.
He looks
Capcom
so uncomfortable
3.
in this.
One of the variations of it. Okay.
Wait.
You guys know I'm not part of it. Time is ticking here. Okay. So, thank you in advance to anyone who supports the channel in any way. As simple as liking the stream helps for engagement purposes.
Oh my God,
but
phone
if
call.
you could go above and beyond today, and if there's any way to do it, you know, please tip. That's the best way to help today. Okay? Fair enough.
Hello? Guys, I could get compensated for utilities, but like, should I press 1? Obviously no. Obviously, it's a scam, dude. I'm gonna be like, no. Why did you call? How do you get my number? My gumber? Oh, oops. Wrong page.
Now, normally I would do game news, but at this point, I don't really have much game news. The only thing I have to talk about is very weird. Something that happened last night. You know, I was reading around social media, trying to figure out
This segment is weird. He brought it up on Twitter, and then it's like it doesn't really go anywhere because he brings up infighting, and I was like, what? I was really confused.
essentially what's going on in the fighting game community. Because as you guys know, I'm not part of it. I said this many times. I'm not part of the fighting game community. It doesn't matter how many people want to pretend like I am. I'm not. I've very much been an outsider to the fighting game community for many years. I would say the last time I actually was actively part of it was 2011. That was the last tournament that I actually traveled to. And I remember essentially being there, and I think the hot game at that time was like,
What are you
Marvel
doing?
vs.
What's he
Capcom
doing?
3 or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. One of the variations of it. Okay? And I sat there, and I was playing, I was like, I really don't know why I'm here. Like, I mean, I like Super Turbo, and I played some Super Turbo at the tournament. They had a cabinet. I remember that was fun. But I was just like, I just didn't understand, like, why I went. I was like, you know, I don't really care about this anymore. I'm not really into being competitive at these games anymore. I don't really like them that much anymore. You know, at that point, that was probably the second or third iteration of Street Fighter 4. I didn't really like it. I liked vanilla Street Fighter 4. And after that, I didn't really like it that much anymore.
Okay.
And I spent all this time and money
So
to travel down to this tournament.
what does this have
And I
to
was
do
like,
with
I think I
the
would rather
subject?
play games in the hotel room. And I did. And I think that was a telling sign that I basically...
But didn't he? Isn't this the time when he complained about he had like a numbness in his thumb and he had to tap out because he couldn't play and then he stayed in the hotel room? Okay.
kind of fallen out of love of the fighting game community and that lifestyle, you know? And since then, I've been a variety content creator.
It really is like something happened in Street Fighter 4. Like something there made him like not want to do anything. Like it really is like something happened.
I cover fighting games from a more casualized standpoint, but I don't really care about high-level competitive play anymore. I don't cover tournaments.
So this is dumb, right? He says, "Oh, I don't care about high-level competitive play or whatever." But every fighter, he's like, "It's not good competitively, man. Oh, you can't say this is a good competitive game, man. It's terrible. Why would I want to play a game that's like not fun and for tryhards?" As he then proceeds to be a tryhard for Boomer Games. Like it's really funny that he's pretending that he's gonna play Street Fighter 6 at like every week for Friday Night Fights. It's really funny that he thinks that.
Like that, right? But this weekend was a unique time when I got into the Street Fighter 6 beta, and I kind of re-immersed myself a little bit for the first time.
This is really stupid. This is really stupid that he says this because he's playing fucking Capcom Fighting Collection. That's a recent collection. It's still a fighting game he's playing. But since it's new and everyone's talking about it, this is the first time he's actually doing something that's new. But that's like what Multiverses was. Tekken, like he's done this so many times. He wants to sound like such a special little snowflake. Like, oh, I got out of my retirement, man. Wow.
In that community again, and seeing what everyone's opinions were about the game and everything was very interesting and telling. But one thing that happened very oddly overnight, I saw people on Twitter arguing, and it was this weirdest thing I've ever seen. The OGs versus the current generation of competitive fighting game community gamers.
Now this is kind of stupid and on many levels because this has always been a thing. Like just listening to it like on a surface level because they've always like I feel like he made a similar like observation. I can't remember what fighting game it was. I want to say it's like Super Smash Brothers or some shit Yeah, no, I remember now because remember like when people were like talking about like Terry Bogard and Smash and like Tekken characters, and they're like, oh, they're saying some shit about moves or whatever, like, and people are like, oh, they think that this is like a fighting game or whatever, and whatever, something like that. Like, there's always gonna be this divide, and then like you also have like people talk about like how since fighting games have been now trying to be more accessible and trying to get more people to play the fighting games, that of course you're gonna have people who get into those games and say, "Oh, this game is actually really good." Like I've seen, like I'm in a Guilty Gear Reddit, guys. Whoa, guys, Reddit, whoa. But I'm in this Guilty Gear Reddit, and I've seen like people talk about Strive and Revelator, and they were talking about like how like they were saying like saying two words that would piss off a Revelator fan or whatever, or like a Strive fan, and they always say like, to piss off a Strive fan, just say like, "Oh, Revelator's better" or something, and that would piss them off and all this kind of shit, and back and forth. Like, there's always these people that are like, "Well, I like this fighting game because it's easier to play or it's more fun to play," and there's also people that think these are more competitive than the other or whatever. It's just a circular argument of preference, pretty much, where people are just arguing over what they prefer. Like, yeah, people are gonna prefer Strive over Revelator. Yeah, people are gonna prefer Revelator over Strive, which is why like I come around and like be like I was almost in that boat of being like, yeah, Strive sucks, man. Revelator's way better. But then it's like, Revelator's fun, and I like it. I do like it more, but I do have fun with Strive. Like I kind of feel like I was being a little too like hard on it in retrospect, and I kind of found myself kind of enjoying it for what it is. But this is stuff that you kind of get. But there's always this debate about like new and old, and it's not really weird or like special.
Here's what I mean by that. If you don't know what OG means,
Oh my
the
god.
term originates, of all things, back to the west coast of the United States in the 1990s with the rap and hip hop movements. It basically means original gangster.
Imagine telling people what OG means. Do you know what OG means? Guys, you know what LOL means? Like laugh out loud and LMFAO, laugh my ass off, and rarely some people used to say this. They don't say it anymore. I don't see it a lot anymore. Raffle. You know what raffle is? It's rolling on floor laughing. And then like some people thought they were really clever and they said rafflecopter. What's a rafflecopter? I don't know. My God.
What it actually refers to is people who's supposed to be considered like an originator or someone who is there.
Oh my God.
Kind of like an elder.
Dude, I want to punch him so bad. Dude, you know what OG means? It's original gangster. Like you're an originator. I one day he's gonna come out and say that he was doing this whole thing, like this whole over explanation, as like a torture test. Like, I did this to drive people away so the true fans stay. It's like an endurance test. Really? He says that all this shit just to see how long you stay before you X out. Like, my God, man. Like, God damn it. I hate you, Phil. Like, this is garbage.
That's really what it means. It's like slang for like an elder, someone who's been around the block, who's wise, who's educated.
Oh, this is giving me brain swelling, dude.
In a community. It used to be original gangster, but when it comes to the fighting game community, it's supposed to stand for original gamer. So an OG is an original gamer. One of the people who's around in
Grandma,
like
let's get you to bed.
early 2000s, who played in arcades, who's part of that competitive community that far back. Those were supposed to be the OGs of Street Fighter. You see? So when someone says to me, all right, OG
From
in regards to Street
software.
Fighter, I think of people like Alex Valle, John Choi, Mike Watson, Seth Killian, Jason Cole, Jason Wilson, and to some extent David Serlin. Those are the guys who like were synonymous with we play in arcades. We were known back in the 90s as the top players at the time.
Oh,
right?
look
Like,
what I
those
can
are
do
the
online.
OGs in my mind. What's
Forget I had
hilarious
that
is
one.
to me is that at one point, when I was still in the competitive community, we're talking like maybe mid to late 2000s, and I was running tournaments, people started calling me an OG, and that was weird as shit to me. Because I was like, I was always thought of myself as the new school, the new blood in the fighting game community. I was treated as such. There was one point where I was young. I was like either in my late teens or early 20s, and I started getting into Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And the joke was, you can't enter Super Turbo, you're too young. You have to be 21 years old, and you have to be married, or you have to, you know what I mean? Like, that was the joke. Like, you have to be an older person, almost like an elder statesman, to play Super Turbo. It wasn't true. I mean, they were joking, and they were always still let you enter the tournament anyway.
Oh, I bet I don't know. The joke isn't that funny since it's like I'm trying to explain, like trying to make sense of it. You have to be 21, man.
It was always like, they were like, I don't know, I gotta see your birth certificate to let you into the tournament. Do you have it with you? You know, stuff like that. But by the time that I had started organizing or running tournaments around, say, 2007, people considered me as an older guy in the fighting game community. You know, I'd been actively doing it for about 10 years at that point, and people were seeing me as like an OG. They were looking up to me because these were newcomers coming into the Street Fighter community, looking up to someone like me who was.
Oh my god! Wow,
really weird
dude.
when people started saying that to me. At one point, I'm not even kidding you, Sanford Kelly called me an OG. He was like, you gotta respect the OG.
Oh my god, this dude is like sucking his dick so hard. Oh my god, dude, they call me an OG because I was there for 10 years. Wow. So cool, man. Wow, man, that's so cool, dude. Oh man, dude.
Man, he shook my hand. He's like, I'm good to be here. This was the ECC that I ran. I think he said that to me. And I was like, I certainly never saw myself like that, right?
And now he's all about it. I'm an OG, man. I'm an OG, man. You look at me. I'm an OG, man. Oh man. You're insulting me.
I guess there's this weird thing now going on in the fighting game community where
it's kind of funny, right? How this suddenly happens like 2 days after that tweet, huh? Okay.
People who only started playing Street Fighter competitively, I don't know. I want to say in the last 10 years, like maybe the mid to end of Street Fighter 4's run, and then the entire Street Fighter 5 run. They kind of see themselves as the current regime of fighting game players. You know, like they are the current school of people who are holding down the community. But they see everyone else before them as like the OGs, the old school.
Okay.
And I guess what happened was there was a big discrepancy and break.
What?
Over the weekend, there was a bunch of arguments that happened regarding the Street Fighter 6 beta that I wasn't aware of, because I was kind of along the lines of everyone that I saw on social media. Everyone kind of agreed with each other. The game's good, right? Like, yeah, there's a few things that maybe could be tweaked here or there to make it better, but overall, that was one of the best betas ever run. The game looks absolutely outstanding. You know, like everyone was very overly positive about it, including me. I agree with them. I thought that it was really.
But isn't it bad to be like super hyped, dude? I mean, the game isn't even out yet.
And I'm feeling very hopeful about playing the game. I can't wait to get my hands on more characters, and really, I want to get my hand on a grappler, you know, or a hybrid.
A grappler
that has grappling in it, because those characters from the beta that I played didn't have that kind of gameplay style. I would love to see how that style is going to be implemented.
Oh, Ken was in the beta.
So,
why didn't he play Ken? Did he ever play Ken?
I from what I'm to understand, I'm trying to get this through. There's two arguments going on. The first argument is around drive impact. Now, we talked about this over the weekend.
Dude, come on, get to the point.
Could be improved in Street Fighter 6. It's drive impact. I feel that drive impact right now, sadly, is just too spammable, too easy for people to try to abuse online. And I'm not saying that that it needs to be nerfed, because I suck at reacting.
He said it should be nerfed. He said, "Oh, it should use more bars or whatever the fuck, or there should be less bars." That's nerfing the mechanic, dumbass. Like, be fucking honest with your fucking criticisms.
I openly will tell you right now, I got hit by drive impact probably 100 times over the weekend, and that's on me because I'm slow to react. You know, I'm older. I'm not used to quick reacting to something like that. And in a fighting game, when I'm going to quick react to something, usually it means do a EX version of a special move that has better invincibility properties and blow through it. It's not, oh, hold down these 2 heavy buttons. Like, that's the last thing I think in my head is, oh, got to counter a move. Hold down 2 heavy buttons together. So that's on me. That's not on the game. But to me, drive impact is far too spammable. How many times was I playing the game on the week during the weekend, and half the matches was just the person spamming drive impact? If that's the case and it's that spammable,
and I guarantee, I feel like a lot of these people, because I've seen a lot of people do this online, where if you're open to stuff, they'll just keep doing it because you're not doing anything about it. Like if they're like, all this dude has to do is block, and he's not blocking, I'm just gonna keep doing it. Why should I do anything else? It's kind of how it's the Guile mindset. I'm gonna keep doing sonic booms and flash kicks. If they can't get around it, that's on them. Which, yeah, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. That's why I don't like fighting Guile players. Because I just can't maneuver, dude.
Problem. The move should not be that spammable because it literally will become just drive impact the entire time you play the game online. You should have it so that maybe if you do it twice and you have to wait to recharge it for a while, so that way it doesn't become avoid drive impact Fighter 6 instead of Street Fighter 6. You see? That's my one major criticism. And in fact, I just told you guys I filled out the survey about Street Fighter 6. That's the one major criticism I had. That was it.
I feel like they're not. I feel like the feedback they wanted for that beta is probably the internet connectivity and all that. I feel that's usually the kind of feedback they want. I mean, Guilty Gear had a survey for their betas. Do you think that they're gonna listen to like, oh, I think you should make Baiken cool, add more moves, add that little run move that she had. I missed that move. That move was a good one. You could even pull out the gun.
But this is the one criticism I have. Make it either that drive impact is even more avoidable and punishable, so it will deter people from spamming it, or make it so that it has a much higher meter cost, so again, people can't just spam it online, because I don't just want to spend my entire online experience dodging drive impact. That was it. That's all I had to say in my survey. But that's it. So I guess what it is there's a big disagreement in the community. Some people are so against drive impact. They feel like,
wow, wait, people are against a new mechanic? Whoa, man. Like, whoa, that's crazy. Really? Dude. It's kind of funny DSP saying this like a little caveman, like a little baby, when he said this about Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5, they added like a V skill and V trigger, and it's terrible, it's stupid, and like crush counters, it's awful. That's a new mechanic, and he hated it. And then there's people that are like, oh no, it's pretty cool, man. But now he's telling us, well, weird, there's like a new mechanic and people hate it apparently?
Breaks the game, and it doesn't belong in it at all. And others are like, no, it's not a big deal at all. And I don't understand this mentality, why people just hate it, just get good and get around it. But I saw another really weird thing too, in regards to, I guess, the way that the OGs react to new Street Fighter games. So someone actually quoted, of all things, a line of tweets from Jason Cole from 7 years ago.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
at the time when Street Fighter 4 was ending and Street Fighter 5 was beginning, I guess Jason Cole was very critical of Street Fighter 4, and he was like, man, you know, all you guys who are so good at Street Fighter 4, I guess one of the reasons that he was critical of it is he was saying they basically all just mastered and abused the focus attack system. It was all about focus attack and focus attack dash cancel, and he felt like Street Fighter 4 was kind of a one-trick pony game because of focus attacks.
Man, so where have I heard this complaint before? It's a one-trick pony game. Oh yeah, Sekiro, dude.
He criticized Street Fighter 4, and when Street Fighter 5 was coming out, he made a series of tweets that was like, ha! So now Street Fighter 5 is coming out, and the focus attacks don't exist in the game, and all you people who use the focus attacks as a crutch are about to get exposed for not being good because you weren't good. All you did is you mastered the focus attack. So now in Street Fighter V, that doesn't exist anymore, and Street Fighter V is going to be a far superior game to Street Fighter 4. So I'm just, this is me summarizing because this is a ton of tweets and stuff that went down.
Oh my god, this is like this is
And
a lost segment. I don't understand where the fuck this is going. There's all these tweets, man. One person said this about Overdrive, and then this other guy said like a mechanic in Street Fighter 4 is abusable. Then they removed it in Street Fighter 5. Okay.
That time people got into arguments with Jason Cole about it, back and forth and stuff like that. So someone said, literally, it's a vicious cycle. It never ends. I was like, what do they mean? So they quoted, of all people, Jason Cole.
Oh my god.
Tweeting about the Street Fighter 6 beta this last weekend. And what does he say? Street Fighter 6 beta's out. Man, this game is hot. Take a look at all this awesome stuff in the game. All you guys who claim you were so good at Street Fighter during Street Fighter 5 are about to be exposed. Because all those strategies that you used in Street Fighter 5 to get ahead don't work in Street Fighter 6.
Why is DSP mocking this when this is how he acts? Literally, he says Street Fighter 4 is an easy game. There's like easy shortcuts. People abuse the shortcuts in that game offers. So it's for babies. And then like Street Fighter 5 is pattern play. Like, come on.
6. So here you go. It's a brand new game. Street Fighter
This isn't
6.
like, and this isn't like a new argument. Like this is what's I kind of like this is what listening to DSP does to you. You kind of lose the point of what you're trying of why you want to do a video. Because I knew I listened to this and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to do a video on this, and I couldn't remember why now because I kept listening to this bullshit. But it's really him just acting surprised that people have different opinions on fighting games and new game versus old game. Like, yeah, there's things about each game that sets them apart. And why people might say this. And like Jason Cole, I feel like that those tweets might just be meme tweets at this point, but whatever.
Way better than that game Street Fighter 5 that wasn't so good. And Street Fighter 6 is much better. So I guess what it is, basically people are saying OGs like Jason Cole and others, not just him, but others, are always salty. They always want a game to play like their old classic game.
Dude. You got a load of this? Mr. Super Turbo is telling everyone that these people, they want the games to play their old games, man. That's exactly how he fucking acts. How many times? Like, oh my god. This game, they say it's gonna play like Super Turbo. It doesn't play like Super Turbo. This guy like wants these games to be like that all the time. And now he's, oh my god, I hate this guy, dude. Like, and when it comes to this shit,
and it doesn't, and when it doesn't, they get upset because it doesn't play like the game they like. They're not prominent anymore at these games, right? You didn't see any OGs really placing in Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6. Did they play them? Yes. But were they prominent top tournament level players? No. Right?
Man.
There's a few exceptions, but almost never. Okay? What you saw in Street Fighter 5 was almost a new school, a new generation of players who stepped up. And
dude, you know what's kind of funny? Unironically, DSP is kind of discussing this when it's been a thing. He's been the OG of this, of this phenomenon, apparently. Because, like, that's how it's always been with him. Street Fighter 4 comes out. Wow, this game's really cool, man. That game, it gets old. Oh, this game sucks. This is for, like, scrubs, man. Street Fighter 5 comes out. Oh, dude, it's gonna be, like, Super Turbo. It's gonna be really cool. Plays it. This game sucks. It's garbage. Street Fighter 6 comes out. Oh, man, this game's gonna be good again. It's like him. And he's saying all of this, not realizing it. Because he has said, like, oh, Street Fighter 6 needs to be good, man. It needs to go back to how Super Turbo was. And that's what he wants. And he's saying this, and he's not realizing the irony.
The prominent top-level players, while the OGs kind of faded into obscurity, right? I think we can all agree there. You didn't see Alex Valle, Jason Cole, John Choi winning Street Fighter 5 tournaments.
You don't see DSP winning Street Fighter 5 tournaments either. Like, why is he excluded in this?
So
he's part of the problem.
What's interesting to me is that even though I'm not part of the fighting game community, man, does this resonate with me.
Oh, okay.
Right? You guys know
Oh, they have a prestige
how
on it.
critical I've been of Street Fighter since I became a YouTuber. You know this. You've heard
And
the
how much-
criticisms, right? Street Fighter 4.
Yeah,
I
the
felt
way-
the vanilla version was completely unbalanced.
The
With
wave
characters
of
like Sagat and
criticisms.
Rufus being way overpowered.
Rufus.
Then with each version of Street Fighter 4 that was released after, when they attempted to rebalance and fix that, they just screwed it up further, right? So Sagat went from being one of the best characters to one of the worst, but then they fucked up the balance and they accidentally make Fei Long way overpowered, and he's hands down the best character in the game. Then they rebalance it again and make the same mistake again, and it just kept happening to the point where I stopped caring about Street Fighter 4 because I didn't want to keep relearning the game from the ground up every 8 months and then have the whole game's balance shift to be unfair again, unbalanced again.
That's gonna be
was annoying.
what Street Fighter 6 is
5.
gonna be.
When it first came out, I smelled something fishy. I started playing it and I was like, I don't know, there's just something off about
That's
this game.
not wholly true. He kind of loved it for a while. He then kind of started questioning it when the game gave him better players, and then someone told him about the 8-frame delay, and that's kind of
I don't know what it is.
seal the
Come to
deal.
Find out within 6 to 8 months we knew what it was. The game had the most input delay of any game ever. There was no excuse for it besides they designed it to be played with lag online, and it essentially turned the game into a game where you could not react to anything. You just played a slow ass pattern, and the game sucked ass for years until finally they patched the shit out of it to make it a much better game by the end of its run, right?
So it's a better game. Wow, I didn't know that. Why didn't you play it?
Understand, like, the criticisms thrown towards modern Street Fighter. Absolutely, I can, because I'm along with them. And I said to this day, I still feel that a classic game like Super Turbo is still better than Street Fighter 4 and 5. I'm sorry, I just do. You could completely disagree. That's totally fine. Well, I look at a game like Super Turbo where there's only 16 characters, but there's an insane amount of variety of gameplay in the game because the characters can play.
What great variety, though. He does the same move over and over, and then he plays every game like Super Turbo that he's played since.
Completely differently, but not only that, one person can pick a character.
Like, it's kind of funny. You know, I don't really play fighting games that great either. Like, I'm not like a pro player, man, but going between Strive and Revelator, I remember I was playing Revelator against someone, and this person is the guy that bodied me. As we did a bike and mirror, and he bodied the shit out of me. He's really good, and I really like playing against him because it made me kind of learn the character a little bit more. But I was playing against him. He DM'd me saying, "Hey man," like, because I think I DM'd him first saying good games because I really liked his biking. He then he replied saying, "Yeah, dude, those were really good matches. Do you play Strive, by the way?" I'm like, "Yeah, I play Strive." Yeah, so like when you do that, because I always do in Strive, always. I do the air slash move where she drops that like spiked thing down, and then I do that on. I'm gonna butch up the pronunciation, but it's like corsical toward slash, where it's like the that spin sword move, whatever. I always do that as a follow up because it's a great follow up in Strive. I would do that in Revelator. The timing is not good. It's not the same like kind of speed because it's totally different. And it's like, yeah, don't do that. Do the air slash and then follow with the dust. And I did that. I was like, holy shit, that's way better. And it's actually kind of safe because it pushes you away, so you could kind of like do it and not get super punished for it. So it was like a really good tip. And I kind of tried implementing that in Strive, and it kind of works 50-50. It's not like really that great, so I don't really do that as much. I kind of do it just to throw the opponent off sometimes, or just to get away. Like if I whiff one, I do that just to push me away. But it's always great. So after that, I started realizing that, yeah, I should kind of think about like the difference between the systems more, and it's kind of more fun to kind of look at it that way sometimes.
In one way, while another person picks that character and plays them in a completely different way, and it's completely viable for tournament play, right? Here's a perfect example of that. Chun-Li. I've seen crazy rushdown Chun-Li. She's constantly in your face. She won't stop attacking. She's always jumping in an angle.
Didn't DSP hate Rushdown though?
She's throwing you into
whatever.
You know, crazy mix loops and things. Then I've seen crazy keep away Chun-Li. Chun-Li that literally will stay away from you and zone you with her fireballs, never let you jump in because she's always counter hitting you on the way down. Like, I've seen these different versions of her played so dramatically differently. And you didn't really see that in recent Street Fighters. What you'll see is, oh, this character is played in this method. That is the way the character is played if you want to win. And if you veer from that formula, you essentially lose.
It's kind of funny though. Like when I was playing against that guy on Guilty Gear, he then tells me because I kind of felt bad in the sense that I thought he was bored because I was like, yeah, this dude's just bodying me, and it's like I don't know if I'm giving him a good enough like fight. But he told me like, oh, don't worry about it. It's actually interesting. I've never seen a Viking play like that. And I guess you can take that however way you want. I decided to take it positively because, you know, why would I want to be mean, dude? Why would I want... So I was like, oh, then, you know, whatever. I take that as positive because I kind of like playing characters in certain ways and just the way I want to play them. That's why I don't play like that competitively. I just want to play to have fun.
It's the epitome of pattern play. You learn one pattern.
But that's why I don't really care about tier lists either. It's like you just play how you want.
Pattern ad nauseum to win, and that's competitive Street Fighter, or at least that's what competitive Street Fighter has been in the last couple of games, from my perspective. Now, I'm not saying there's anything necessarily terribly wrong with that, unless you're okay with every character playing the same forever. It won't create variety. It won't create a sense of identity. It's just kind of like, it is what it is, right?
But shows have always played the same, though.
Fighters were about, you know, it wasn't about mastering one pattern with a character. It was more about adapting to your situation, using that character and facing off against the other cast members in different situations where you had to think on the fly. Because what if you know how to beat Chun-Li, but the Chun-Li's playing in a way you're not used to? Well, now you got to adapt. And most people can't do that in Modern Street Fighter because they're playing a pattern. You see what I'm saying? So...
But if you download the pattern and you see through the pattern, then you can adapt to the pattern and see an opening. And then the guy's going to have to change the pattern, because if you know the pattern, like if a guy's going to keep jumping in, you know what to do to it. You know what to do when you see the person jump in.
Different today than the mentality of how these games used to be played. So in a lot of regards, when I see OGs posting up stuff like that, I kind of understand it. All right. But absolutely, I would say, these modern gamers obviously have found a way to make these modern Street Fighter games hype and make them accepted and make them prominent and make them part of gaming culture. Maybe, sadly, those days are just gone. You know what I'm saying? And you look at those old days of games like Super Turbo, and you're like, man, that game will still always stand the test of time. People will always go back to Super Turbo and reference it as the game that put competitive fighting games on the map. But maybe we just got to kind of accept that we're not going to get that again, because that's not what modern gamers want. Modern gamers want flashy. So you have to have a move like Drive Impact.
But this is kind of stupid, though, because a lot of people complain about games being, like, simplified and nerfed or whatever, or just ruining certain games. Like, there's a lot of criticisms thrown towards Strive for removing a lot of movesets that characters had. Like, if you look at Faust or even Ram and Jacko, specifically those two, if you look at their move list in Strive compared to Revelator, it's like holy shit. Literally, if you look at their move list, it's like a novel in Revelator. Like, there's a big list. Like, I looked at Ram's move list in Strive, and I was like, okay, fuck this character, I can't play it. Because it's so much. It's so much. It's like a whole list of things and they all have like criteria. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then like you look at Strive and it's like five things. I will say though, on the other hand, Strive is nowhere. I would say it's nowhere near as like goofy as Street Fighter V's move list. Street Fighter V is fucking wild. There are just characters that have like 2 moves in their special moves, and it's like, why are there only 2? Shouldn't they have more? Like it's weird. But they have crazy normals, but their specials are like nonsense. So Stripe is not that bad, but it's just kind of like they really removed a lot of stuff from it. And even Biken, like there's a lot of moves that they just got rid of, just straight up. And it's like some of the moves that they removed, like, yeah, I didn't know that they existed, but I kind of miss them now. The second I learned those moves in Revelator, it's like, dude, I miss this. That fucking grapple she has, like she used the chain, then you press punch right after, is my favorite move. I love ending a combo with that where it's the final hit because it's just literally she grabs him, jumps up, and slams the body like a basketball. That is the coolest animation I have ever seen. It's cool. I the only thing is that it kind of lives on through her parry in Strive because that's also a cool animation where she just kind of like parries, grabs him, and just throws him, which is kind of cool, especially when you see her do that with Gold Lewis and Potemkin. But I still miss that grapple that she had. It's so fucking cool. But she also doesn't have the run attack where you can kind of press a certain button and she does something different. Like all these moves are gone, but it's whatever. I do think that it kind of replaces it with just damage output with certain moves. Like that parry does crazy damage, which is fine. So yeah, it's interesting in that kind of way. I kind of feel like Strive's changes it would probably piss people off if they loved the Revelator incarnation of those characters, but it's still an interesting change. I feel, but it's also just there's stuff in that game that's kind of like debatable, but it's still kind of fun.
In the game because they want the flashiness of it.
I wouldn't say that it's like, oh, they want flashiness because Revelator has a lot of flashiness in it innately compared to Strive. Like even the classic ass Guilty Gear, but Strive, because I would argue, I think the flashiness is gone. A lot of the UIs are all clean and simplified. It's really like they all like loved Apple's UI and they wanted that. Like everything's clean. And I said this many times, I don't like it. I love the raw style that Revelator has. Like when you get near the end, it's like the health gets lost and it's like a violent animation when you lose health, and it's like really fucking cool. Like it's these little touches that I love. When you do the mortal counter, that style is kind of cool. Like all this stuff is like really cool visually, but it's a deep game. Strive is like not that deep and it's not that visually like stunning. It's a gorgeous game, but it's not like flashy that DSP thinks it is.
A comeback factor where you can literally be losing and then you make one mistake and get hit by drive impact or use drive impact to get a critical hit. And now next thing you know, you just took away 50% of your opponent's health bar and you're well past.
But that's any game though. Every game has a comeback mechanic. The supers in Street Fighter 2 are comeback mechanics. Because if you're losing, just do a super. They'll lose a lot of health and try to build the combo off that. Like a super is pretty much a comeback mechanic.
That hurdle and now you're on your way back, you know. These were not things that used to exist. And you can argue one way or another that they made fighting games better or worse over time. For me, my ultimate pet peeve about any fighting game, all right, is that you make one mistake, you get hit once, and because you literally got hit once.
This is a meme coming from him because that's how Super Turbo plays. How many matches have you seen DSP body someone when they made one mistake and they get instantly dizzied? And he's saying, though, this is a problem with modern fighting games. But he does that in these boomerang collections all the time. He just waits for them to make a mistake and then he just fucking wails on them and then he wins.
Your opponent is able to do an insane combo, right? That takes away the vast majority of your health, and now you have no chance to come back that round. I hate that. That was my major criticism earlier this year with the King of Fighters. What was it, 15? How is it that this game is based on one hit? And if you get the one hit because there's no damage scaling, someone could do an 80% damage combo on you. And now the round is over. What if I fucking sneezed, right? It shouldn't be based on one mistake, in my opinion. Now, some people could disagree, and that's fine. I mean, take a look at games like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, games like Dragon Ball FighterZ. Like, that's the game. The whole game is based around getting that one hit, that one mix-up. Zoom! Here comes ginormous combo that wipes out the whole.
But that's how Marvel vs. Capcom 2 plays too. That's how these versus games play when you have 3-on-3. Like that's how even Skullgirls is at times, which is like kind of crazy. I get really heated when I go against a three-player team. It's like, oh, it's gonna be a painful session.
Right? And I hate that.
I
fucking always have hated that. It's almost like a touch of death. The moment you get hit, the game's over. I don't see how that's competitive. right?
It's worse than Skullgirls,
Instead of
I will say.
playing the
The
fighting
touch of
game,
death thing, that's
you might as well
an
just play
issue.
rock, paper, scissors, right? Because if it's really just about that one thing, oh, done, right? Oh, rock versus scissors, smash the scissors, game over.
Because the thing with
Right?
Skullgirls is that it doesn't have a true burst. There's a meter that builds up, and then you have to hit a button. But so many players know how to work around that. It's so frustrating when you go against someone that does that, because they'll put you in a combo, like just a constant, like, infinite combo. They'll notice the bar, like, because the second you hear like you'll hear a certain noise, which indicates if you press, like, I think it was like 2 buttons at once or whatever, it'll push the opponent back. The second they hear that noise, they will stop for a second and then continue it, and that will, like, circumvent it. And it's like, I've said this before, especially with Umbrella. Umbrella has the move that will trap you in a bubble, and you can't get out of that bubble until it lands or Umbrella hits you. And I got hit by that move, and I'm sitting there like, this game needs a burst. Like, if you're gonna have moves like that, you need a burst button. You need it. You just need it like Guilty Gear at this point, because you can't really realistically go, like, you once Umbrella traps you in that bubble, she can start a whole new combo off that. It is so fucking nuts. It was like, yeah, like, if they do Skullgirls 2, there's no way they're not adding a burst button. There's no way. They have to. Because, like, before Umbrella, that you could argue that there was no need for one, even though I think even that's a weak argument, but you could argue it. But once they had Umbrella and she had that move, it's like, yeah, they need a burst button. There's no way this move would fly without one.
Then why are you playing a fighting game? Right? You could easily just do something else that's just immediate winner or loser. You don't even need to have the semantics of disguising it as some kind of a competitive fighting game when it's literally get one hit, win the match. You know, that's always been my pet peeve about certain fighters. All right, but a lot of people disagree with me, and they like that. And again, they like the flashiness factor. That's become, in the last 15 years since now, it's all about the prominence of streaming and becoming hype around fighting games when they're played competitively. You want your fighting game to be the flashiest thing possible. So you need drive impact. You need the comeback factor. You need the thing that looks special and flashy and crazy on the screen, because that attracts the casual viewers. That brings in the stream monsters. That brings in the attention.
Stream monsters. He still says that.
To your tournament series. That allows you to get more prominence and make more money, right? And I get that. It's business. I get it. But does it water down the competition? I don't know. I think maybe it does, but I honestly don't think that people really care that much anymore, you know? When you look back at the days of the classics, I think I'll always agree that Super Turbo is the best fighting game of all time. But does that mean that I need to write off Street Fighter 6 because it has a few things that...
Dude, you are if you get bodied enough times. Like, he wrote off Street Fighter 5 immediately because he couldn't hang. And then he's like, oh, it's for scrubs, man. It's pattern play. He wrote it off because it wasn't like Super Turbo. Then he went on to say, like, oh, they need to make a game like Super Turbo if they want me to be hyped.
Different? No, I don't think so. I don't know. Like, it's just a weird fight. I never thought I would actually see people fighting with OGs. I thought these guys were well respected in the community, and it seems like
this dude is the only one that takes the FGC shit so seriously. I don't think anyone sits there like, they're the OGs, guys. We should not talk to them. We're not worthy enough. Like, this is really lame, and it's probably kind of like, kind of a toxic attitude to have in a community, you know? Like, just be like, oh, well, I play this game longer than you. It's kind of like a gatekeeping mentality. That's kind of lame. Like, yeah, of course we're gonna disagree, whatever. Like, who are you, right? Like, okay, wow, people disagree with the OGs. Like, should we all just suck their dick because they played a game longer than us? Like,
at this point, whatever this current generation...
Like, am I gonna fucking... we'll have to, like, suck... Like, we'll have to, like, bend over for a dude that played Guilty Gear longer than me? Theo, the guy who played Guilty Gear 1 says that Strife sucks, and why are you saying it's fun? Oh, damn it, man. I guess I can't debate him, right? He played Guilty Gear 1, the first Guilty Gear ever.
Is doing in Street Fighter, they've finally, like, splintered off and said, we're not following the old ways anymore. We don't even respect the old players.
Wait, what?
Current generation is doing in Street Fighter. They've finally like splintered off and said we're not following the old ways anymore. We don't even respect the old players. Someone actually.
What? What are the old ways? They're not following the old ways. What are the old ways? They're still playing Street Fighting games. They like the ones that they played now because that's the one that they started playing. This is really stupid. Because what's kind of dumb about this is that there was no other Street Fighter that existed before DSP was born. So, of course he's gonna long for those because those were like the first of its kind. But like when you're just getting into video games, you're gonna like what's new and shit than the stuff that's back then. Like I got into Street Fighter 4. You think I'm gonna love Street Fighter 2? The only old Street Fighter game I like is like Alpha 3 and Third Strike. Because I like the sprites, dude.
Posted up, don't call them OGs anymore, just call them boomers. It's like, wow. So now
and then he sees that shit post about calling them boomers. Like it's probably just like, yeah, just fucking call them boomers. Like, okay. I mean, we call DSP a boomer. Again, DSP predates this whole movement easily because he's the originator, dude. He is the OG. But he's a boomer because like he doesn't understand anything.
You're going to give them that respectful title of OG, original gamer anymore. You're going to remove what would be considered respectful, and you're just going to call them a.
And honestly, if this is how they're going to act, if they act like DSP about being called a boomer, then they deserve to be called a boomer. I'm sorry. If you're going to sit there and be like, I'm an OG, like why are you guys splintering away from what I used to do? Okay, back in my day, we never did this. You're not an OG, you're a fucking boomer. Like, come on.
Generic meme name that's generally considered disrespectful.
Oh
right?
my god,
Boomer.
dude. Remember during the peak of the pandemic, all these people were like, this guy called me a boomer! This person, okay, boomer! Like, all this, like, debate. It's like, that Boomer and Karen were like the biggest like debates that fucking boomers had during the pandemic. Everyone was debating about like all this other shit, but these people were like debating that. And here we have DSP, the pinnacle Karen and Boomer, saying they're calling them boomers. That's disrespectful. If you're complaining about that, you're a fucking boomer, dude.
Is essentially a negative stereotype. Or meme, while OG is considered a positive stereotype or meme. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. I've never seen this happen before. But again, I've been outside of the community. I haven't been paying attention. I guess there really has been a giant shift.
How does he not know this though? Because he talks about it all the time. He literally has a video where he discusses the FGC and their love for Street Fighter 5. And then talks about how all these games are pleasing scrubs and all this stuff. All this, like, this is the dumbest segment I have heard, and it melts brains.
So, and I wasn't there for 7 of it. I wasn't there for Street Fighter 5. I literally ignored it on purpose because I didn't like it. So I was paying no attention to any of that. I guess if I'm going to play Street Fighter 6, I'm going to become inundated in it again. And by the way, by no means, don't take this as me saying I want to be part of the FGC. I don't. You already know. You saw the ridiculous experience I just had with them a few days ago.
With one person.
I want nothing to do with
one person. And he writes off the entire community because one dude.
That toxic nonsense, I'll play Street Fighter 6 from the sidelines. I'll enjoy it. I'll explore characters. I'll play it online. I'll definitely do awesome single-player content. I'll try to play stuff online and do fun stuff for you guys, coverage. I'll probably do Madness series again like I used to. But
oh boy, he's gonna do Madness series. You know what Madness series was? Like it's like Suicide Kings, but all he does is play one character for the entire session. That's it. There's really nothing cool about it. Like Dan Madness was him playing Dan Ibiki. That's it. There's really no madness in it. He didn't do a Madness series for Street Fighter 5, dude.
I don't see myself trying to get back into that community. Not after what I've seen and what I'm observing as an outsider.
No, he says this. I guarantee you, the second Street Fighter 6 comes out and he starts playing it over time and all this stuff is discussed about it, he is gonna keep talking about the FGC. The FGC said that like this character is broken, huh? Yeah, man. Like that's really the news of Street Fighter 6 today is that like they're saying Give is broken. Like they're saying like his drive impact because they gave a grappler a drive impact and it goes through everything. It goes through supers, EX moves, everything, man. Wow, and then now they're saying that there's gonna be a Super Street Fighter 6, man. That's alarming. And the FGC is very torn on that, man. We have like people like Billy Bo Bag who says that like he doesn't know he's gonna join Evo this year, man. It's crazy. And then Street Fighter 6 is finally dethroning the shitty Street Fighter 5 at Evo. Of course, because it's the new game, so of course it's gonna take prominence.
All I'm seeing is toxicity. And it's like, why the hell would anyone want to be a part of that? You know what I'm like, like it actually kind of blows my mind that they don't have like leaders in that community.
Yeah, because it's always good, right? When people like police a community. It never has like it doesn't end bad for anyone. No exploitation. No one sneaks into people's DMs and says shit, right? No one. When there's a story about community policing, it always ends with smiles and happiness, and nothing happens. Nothing scary happens. No way, man.
Speaking out and saying, maybe we should not be such dicks. Maybe we should not be such negative, toxic memesters, constantly trying to pull everything apart, tear people down. Maybe we should be more...
No, what's funny about him saying this is that he said... there are videos. I kind of want to look it up, but I don't want to because it's going to take forever. But there are so many instances where he says, the people of today, if they went back and they tried to like hang in the FGC, they wouldn't last it, man. Everyone was like a shit talker back then, man. And they would shit talk you. They would do all kinds of stuff, man. They would say words like that you wouldn't be able to say today, man. But now he's saying, it was like that back then. Everyone was like a gentleman. Now it's all like, young hipsters, man. Literally, this is what boomers do. Back in my day, kids they did not ride the skateboards on boardwalks. They walked and they held hands with their significant other and they opened doors, man. Chivalry must be dead. Like this is boomer shit. And it's clownery because he says that this stuff that he's accusing that this community is doing today was going on back then. But he's saying, now it's all toxic, dude. Yeah, there was a fucking pedophile or whatever the fuck with Mr. Wizard. And he's saying, back then it was cool, man. Now it's bad. This dude is a clown. A massive clown. Come on.
Welcoming. Maybe we should be more, you know what I mean? They're tearing down their own OGs, their own people who used to be respected in the community as the originators of Street Fighter. They're now calling boomers.
No, I think the originators of Street Fighter is Capcom. They made the game, dude.
I mean, holy shit. Anyway, that's really the only thing I really have to talk about today.
That was the dumbest segment. So there's really no time because I don't want to be here for like 5 hours. But to tease the next video, we're gonna watch the Scorn baby mode segment, the baby rage, and then I think this is another day, but maybe we should watch this back to back. Because I think this was before the baby rage. Yeah, we'll watch this, then the baby rage. And then maybe, no, because, I don't know. We'll see if we're going to watch the money buff segment. But these are the two videos I want to watch next. And maybe more. Who knows? But yeah, that's it for this video. Let's see if there's any new developments on the Twitter machine. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a fun one. Apparently, there's like a trailer for Final Fantasy 16. I didn't know there was gonna be a trailer, so that's cool for those that care. Oh, Bloodborne is trending. That's I'm sure no one is asking for a remaster, right? Oh no, he's still not talking, man. But he did tell us that Scorn sucked. I kind of saw the ending. I didn't get it because I didn't play the game, so I probably lost the plot there. But of course, he hated it and ended on Q&A. Massive money buff all around. But what's kind of funny though, Team Michael Gamer emptied his bank account on DSP, and DSP is like, he kind of didn't give him the touch treatment, which is kind of funny. But I don't think well, whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter anyway. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's been fun. It's been fun. Fun is my motto. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the content. And have a good time. Have a good day. Have a good week. Damn it. I want to have the perfect end, the perfect quote. Okay, here we go. Thank you for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
Seriously though, who was that guy?